Isa tingnan, Anika?
Annalyn Fernandez. Annalyn. Oh.
Again, so good morning, everyone. Last reminder na lang po to please mute your microphones to avoid unnecessary background noise. And feel free to type in any of your questions or concerns in our chat box, and we'll answer them during the question and answer portion of each presentation. You may also raise your hands for immediate concerns, but kindly wait for the moderator to acknowledge you before turning on your microphones. Okay. So let's begin. I think most of our attendees are already here na po, no? So good morning po again to everyone and welcome to our mission Rebooting Economic Activities through Community Engagements or Mission Race Orientation for Program Implementers. I am Andrea Adoria from the Bureau of Local Employment, and I will be your host for today. So first of all po, no, on behalf of the Bureau, we would like to thank and welcome you po in this activity. So as a new program po ng Department of Labor and Employment, we are very excited to work with you and introduce what Mission Race is all about. No? So before we officially begin, let us start our day with a prayer and the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Philippines.
Pwede pa mag-send.
Lord, thank you for this day, for the presence of everyone in this call. For once again, we are gathered and given the opportunity to appreciate life and your words. Forgive us for our shortcomings and cleanse our hearts as we learn and live your words and example. Father, bless our endeavors, especially today's meeting. May you guide us in our discussions, and may you enlighten our minds in every decision that we make. Give us your grace that we may effectively do our parts for your greater glory. All this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Okay, so again, good morning po no, to everyone and welcome to the Mission Race Orientation Activity for Program Implementers. Before anything else, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Assistant Secretary Dominic Rubio Tutay, our esteemed guests from the Bureau of Workers with Special Concerns, Employees Compensation Commission, National Reintegration Center for OFWs, National Wages Productivity Commission, Institute for Labor Studies, and Technical Education Skills and Development Authority. We also have here our colleagues from the Dollar Regional and Field Offices and the Bureau of Local Employment, partners from the LGU and TASOS, and of course, our new race coordinators, Hero Support, and Local Heroes. Thank you everyone for being with us here today. So to give us an inspiration and support on the rollout of Mission Race program, let us hear from Assistant Secretary and Concurrent Director of the BLE, Dominic Rubia Tutay.
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat, sa akin po mga kasamahan sa Department of Labor and Employment, Dollar Regional Offices, Field Offices, and Provincial Offices, sa ILS, sa NRCO, sa ECC, sa BWSC, NWPC, and syempre po sa BLE family. Gayon din po sa ating kapamilya at kapatid, ang Technical Education and Skills Development Authority. Binabati ko din po ang ating mga Public Employment Service Offices at ang ating mga local government units. Muli magandang umaga. It is my pleasure to welcome you all in today's orientation for Mission Race, or rebooting activities through economic engagement. More than a year, we've seen the adverse impact of COVID-19. Many of our dear workers, both in the formal and informal sectors, have lost their jobs due to the prolonged imposition of community quarantine and the subsequent tight controls on our productive activities. Tama na rin po sa mga nakapektuhan ang ating mga overseas Filipino workers who have been repatriated here in the country. As a way to cushion the negative impacts or effects of the pandemic to the overall domestic labor market, the National Employment Recovery Strategy, or NERS, was then designed, developed, and adopted. It is an important employment recovery plan for the workforce and improve the current socio-economic situation of the country. Hence, aside from its implementation of the regular programs and as co-chair of the NERS Task Force, the Department of Labor and Employment, together with the Balikatan sa Kaunlaran, or BSK National Foundation Incorporated, and other partner agencies, had crafted the Mission Race, which is a program that aims to reboot economic activities through community engagement in the form of sustainable livelihood trainings and profiling of labor market situations in the locality, particularly at the barangay level. The Healthy Economic Recovery Officers, or HEROES, assigned in each pilot barangay shall ensure that the labor market survey tools of Mission Race are well utilized and that the local communities are well engaged in sustainable livelihood supports offered by various partner agencies under the Mission Race. Meanwhile, local HEROES, HERO supports, and RACE program coordinators shall implement the program and monitor the utilization of resources on their respective management levels. Likewise, through its respective flagship programs and or services, the various partner agencies will then contribute to the overall success of Mission Race by providing the necessary and appropriate interventions needed by the partner communities. For such reason, I should say that all of you have been chosen for this crucial mission in generating the much needed labor market information for designing policies and programs towards employment recovery. We begin this mission by piloting the program in 274 LGUs who took the courage to accept the challenge of rebooting our economic activities through community engagements, despite the risk and vulnerabilities of the ongoing pandemic. Your dedication and hard work will be the unbeatable power which will help us achieve our common goal of serving the best interest of the people and in making our country a stronger republic in the post-pandemic world. Yes, we need each other more than ever as we contribute our collective aspiration to heal, recover, and arise as one. But by becoming more responsible through teamwork, we can always be the real heroes, not only to our families, but to every Filipino who deserves our public service. Again, magandang araw po and I wish everyone safe and good health. Salamat po.
Ayan, so,
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat, sa akin po mga kasama.
okay. So, moving forward, no? Sabi nga po ni Asik Nikki that the COVID-19 pandemic has indeed greatly affected the labor force, and as part of the department's commitment under the National Employment Recovery Strategy, or NERS 2021-2022, we are hopeful that the missionaries program will be able to reboot the economy through community engagements. So of course, we couldn't do this without you po, no? Our heroes on the front line, racing through the challenges ahead. And now to help you better understand what missionaries is all about, let me share with you a quick AVP to be followed by an introduction of the program by Mr. Denver Balbuena, Program Manager of the missionaries. Okay, can anyone from the Secretariat confirm if my screen is on already?
Yes, Andrea.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Considering the adverse impact of the COVID-19 pandemic to the labor force, the National Employment Recovery Strategy, or NERS, was created, an employment recovery plan from 2021 to 2022, which aims to encourage generation and improved access of employment, livelihood and training opportunities, improved employability and productivity of workers, and provide support to existing and emerging businesses to preserve and create employment. While the Department of Labor and Employment implements said initiative as its co-chair, the Balikatan sa Kaunlaran, or BSK National Foundation Incorporated, proposed an offshoot program to assist the department in the establishment of a community-based, peer-to-peer livelihood promotion machinery attached to local pesos. With these complementing opportunities, Mission Race was born as an effort to reboot economic activities through community engagements in the form of livelihood training and profiling of labor market situations in the locality to identify necessary interventions. It aims to have a sustainable livelihood enterprise for participating barangays and conduct local profiling based on the reports from the survey instruments to be issued by the central office. This program will have a race coordinator based at the central office as the program manager. They will coordinate with the Healthy Economic Recovery Officer, or HERO support, and a local hero supervising the implementation of the program. Heroes in barangays will be hired under the government internship program to engage with the community and administer the labor market profiling survey. There will also be a total of 272 local government units involved in this undertaking, with 5,320 barangays across all regions. In addition, BSK will develop the MyDon and MyHero mobile application that will be used as a tool for the efficient, paperless, and smoother conduct of the labor market profiling task of the heroes. Through Mission Race, we can help not only the promotion of sustainable livelihood in local communities, but as well as the department's overall employment recovery efforts.
Okay. So there you have it. That was the AVP that we presented during the launching of Mission Race back in May 1. So now, I would like to invite Sir Denver to proceed with the presentation. Sir Denver, the floor is yours po.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Denver. Uh, uh, good morning, everyone. I'm Denver Balduina, your deputy program manager for Mission Race. So as you see in the ABP that you have seen is during the pre-launching of the Mission Race. So as of now, we have 274 local government LGUs from the original 272 because of additional requests from different regions such as region 9 and 12. And then the barangays were already increased to 5,366. And so in the zone, we have 194 LGUs and 3,415 barangays. And in Visayas, we have 41 LGUs and 1,375 barangays. It's only in Mindanao that we have increased the number of LGUs from 37 to 39 and barangays as well from we added just like 47 barangays. That's why we have 5,700 576 barangays. I'm sorry. So for the breakdown, as you could see, we have for NCR, we have 4 AGUs and 40 barangays, car. So it's already there, flashing the screen. So for car, we have 2 and 16 for barangays, and region 1, we have 5 LGUs and 177 barangays, and 198 for LGUs for region 2, and 980 for barangays for region 2. And in region 3, we have 48 towns and cities and 1,189 barangays. And for region 4A, we have 29 barangays, 29 towns and 776 barangays. And for Mimaropa, we have 7 LGUs and 227 barangays. In region 5, we only have 1, that's Naga City, and 10 barangays. In region 6, we have 25 and 1,037 barangays. So they are the second highest regions to have a number of barangays covered for mission days. In region 7, we have 9 LGUs and 172 barangays. For region 8, we have 7 LGUs and 166 barangays. Also for region 9, we have 4 LGUs and 93 barangays. So this is where we have increased from 46 to 93 barangays. And in region 10, we have 11 LGUs and 206 barangays. And for region 11, we have 9 LGUs and 69 barangays. And for region 12, we have 6 LGUs and 100 barangays. And for Caraga, we have 9 LGUs and 108 barangays. So, how do we implement this mission-based program? Because as you say, in the ABP, the mission race are two-track program. It has a sustainable livelihood training part and the labor market profiling survey part. So they complement each other. And so how do we implement this? We have National Program Management Team, which is composed of Deputy Program Manager, yours truly, and 3 race program coordinators, 2 and 3 program coordinators, 1. 2 of these race program coordinators, 1 are assigned at our partner agency, Bureau of Workers for Special Concerns. And for the regional program management support, we have 16 hero supports. So these are the people that are hired at the regional level, and they work together with the PISO regional focal person. And in the local management implementation team, we have 274 local heroes, and these are the people which we hired for the local government units, either in the cities or in the towns, and they work together with our PISO managers, and we have also in the local program management implementation, we also have 5,366 heroes. These are the GIPs that we hired in each barangay. So this is the chain of command for our mission race program implementation. From the central office, it coordinates with the regional office, and the regional office coordinates with the local heroes at the town or city level, and then the local heroes will coordinate with the GIP, which are assigned at the covered barangays. So our partner agencies are Bureau of Workers with Special Concerns. So this is the agency which is responsible for the DOLI Integrated Livelihood and Entrepreneurial Program supports. And we also have the Employees Compensation Commission, which is responsible for the support to victims of work-related accidents in the formal sector. So these are related to COVID compensation. And we have the National Wage Productivity Commission, which is responsible for the tools and supports on improving the labor market productivity, which will be discussed later on by our esteemed speakers. And we also have National Reintegration Center for OFWs, which is responsible for the integration programs for and services to returning OFWs. So when our OFWs come to the Philippines, when they go back to our society, this is the agency which is responsible for the reintegration. And we also have, of course, the TISDA, Technical Education Skills Development Authority, which is responsible for the skills training and or capacity building needed by our labor market and the labor force. And so we have our program management team is of course composed by Ma'am Annalisa Ragos, our division chief for the SPMD. And so if you want to contact her directly, the contact numbers are there, and the email addresses are also there. And I am the deputy program manager, and we have Alan Christopher Oliva as program coordinators too. So all of these people are you can directly contact them if you have concerns, but you can also directly contact me if you have concern. For livelihood, it is Alan Christopher Oliva, and for monitoring and evaluation purposes, a database as well, Miss Josephine Enriquez, our program coordinator too. And for labor market profiling, you can directly contact Miss Hyacinth Pingol, our program coordinator too. And for financial matters and other aspects of program management in the mission race at the national level, you can contact Ruth Camillo, program coordinator too. For BWSC concerns, you can directly contact either Joel or John Rinzo Estacio. So they are our program coordinators to assign at the BWSC. So we will just share with you their updated contacts and email addresses later on. And then our program management team is stationed here at at the Employment Service Program Management is PIMD Division. And this is our telephone number. And if you are also you can also access us at ble.gov.ph and visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/ble.info. And so this is our official logo for the Mission Race program. So we will be sending, or we will be sharing with you as well this the soft copy and the high definition copy for of our official logo for Mission Race. So I will send it to every regional focal piso and also to regional hero supports. So thank you so much and good morning once again.
Okay, thank you, Sir Denver. I think we have concerns here sa group chat po. Na medyo hindi daw po clear yung audio, sir. I think nagfi-feedback siya kanina. But from my end kasi it was okay. Sige po, just to briefly summarize what Sir Denver said for those po na nagkaroon ng technical difficulties or medyo mahina po yung pag-receive ng audio ni Sir Denver, no? So, yung present po kanina ni Sir Denver na briefer, I believe this was sent to everybody last Friday. So, naka-attach po yung briefer na yon. And then, that's where you can find the background and objectives of the program, the implementation process, the covered areas po nationwide, and our partner agencies. Pati po yung contact details ng ating program management team ay mahanap po ninyo doon sa briefer na yon. Don't worry po na after this meeting, we'll try to resend said copy para po dun sa mga hindi pa nakaka-receive nung briefer. But basically po, what Sir Denver was trying to say that for the Mission Race program, we have two main tracks, which is yung nga po, yung labor market profiling survey and the livelihood trainings. So our goal here po is to go through talaga the communities, to interview localities, different households and establishments to check how they're doing during this COVID-19 pandemic. Ilan na po ba yung mga nawalan ng trabaho? Ilan yung mga establishments na nagbalik sa work after po nung lockdown, no? So yun po yung mga sinusubukan nating hanapin through the labor market profiling survey, which later on po will be further discussed by our team from the labor market information of the BLE. So after po natin silang ma-identify or ma-interview, we will then revert or refer them to other interventions po na pinaprovide ng Mission Race program, which is the livelihood programs na i-discuss naman po ng ating partner agencies all throughout today po. So after po nung labor market profiling na i-discuss po right after kung ano-ano ba yung mga interventions na pwede po nating i-offer sa ating localities po in the barangay level. So yun po basically yung summary nung sinasabi ni Sir Denver kanina for those na who weren't able to clearly hear what he was trying to explain po, no? So nabanggit din po ni Sir Denver yung mga partner agencies na kasama po natin dito sa implementation ng Mission Race, which is tayo po sa BLE, sa BWSC, from ECC, NWPC, NRCO, and from TESDA rin po, no? So we also have here from the chat box, nag-chat din po ang ating focal person from BWSC, si Sir Joel Mariano. So you can contact him sa jsmariano.bwsc@gmail.com. So noted on this, Sir Joel, we will update your contact information from the briefer, which again, we will resend right after the orientation activity. So if you have further questions po, please feel free to type in the chat box, and then later on po, we will be entertaining these questions. But moving forward in our activity for today, as I have mentioned, no, We will now first dive into the first track or first intervention po ng ating Mission Race program, which is the labor market profiling survey. So you will now know ano ba yung magiging role natin as hero support, as local heroes, or as race coordinators po, no? So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Ms. Mike Rostrona and Ms. Camille Estanislao of the Bureau of Local Employment, who will discuss the labor market profiling survey. Ms. Micah, Camille, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Andrea.
Hi, Andrea. Kindly enable the screen sharing. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Who will be sharing?
Me.
Ms. Micah? Okay, sige.
No, ako.
Okay, sige. There you go. Can you try it now? Okay. Looks good, Camille. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Camille. Thank you, Andrea. So as what Andrea mentioned a while ago, we will be presenting po yung labor market profiling survey. No? From the details kung ano po yung nilalaman ng survey, kung para saan ito, and as well as kung ano yung mga information na ma-generate natin from this profiling survey tool. We will also be discussing kung ano po yung magiging roles ng ating mga heroes during the conduct and as well as the encoding and processing of the said information. So next slide, please, Camille. Thank you. Here's the quick overview po, or here's the quick run-through nung ating magiging presentation for today. So first po is yung overview, followed by the LMI profiling survey forms, then the survey scope, roles of heroes, data processing, and finally the survey results. Next slide. Okay, for the overview. So in preparation for the full rollout of the labor market monitoring component of the Mission Race, DOLE have developed the establishment survey and skill survey forms that will be used to accurately profile the available labor supply and demand of respective barangays. Said survey instruments were based on the indicators in the NSRP Forms 1 and 2. Aside in the provision of barangay level data, said tools are expected to generate information on the number of establishments that have resumed operation after the easing of community quarantine and restrictions. Accurate, reliable, and timely LMI are keys to data-driven and sound policy decisions. So the Bureau is also working with Balikatan sa Kaunlaran Foundation or BSK in the development of the My Hero, My Dole mobile application. It is a tool for the efficient, paperless, and smoother conduct of the labor market profiling task of the heroes. So pending po the app, we will use muna yung pen and paper na method in gathering information. Okay, Papa, can you please flash lang yung actual survey form? So as mentioned po kanina, meron po tayong dalawang main survey form. Yung isa po is establishment survey and yung pangalawa po is yung skill survey. So for the establishment survey, ang magiging sample natin will be establishment, and for the skill survey, it will be household samples or yung mismong workforce natin. So establishment survey form, they're basically it is basically divided into 5 main sections, mainly the establishment profile, which contains basically the address, the major industry group, and the establishment size of the sample. Then we will also be gathering information on the pre-pandemic employment. So that is basically yung kung ilan yung workforce nila noong bago tayo mag-implement ng total lockdown. So that's before that is as of March 15, 2020. Yung total number of workers during the pre-pandemic situation will be collected, disaggregated by sex and rank. Then, similarly, kukunin rin natin yung post-lockdown employment situation. That ang cutoff po niyan is as of December 31, 2020. So, we will be gathering yung total number of workers, again, disaggregated by sex and rank. Also, we will be asking yung establishment if they have implemented FWA or yung flexible work arrangement, temporary closure, or if they have retrenched or reduced workforce during lockdown when they adopted or when they resumed operation noong December 2020. So since the main objective of the survey is also to know the labor supply and demand, we will be gathering information on the job vacancy details. So, ang makukuha po natin dyan is yung position title, nature of work, whether it's a permanent, contractual, project-based position, the place of work, the salary, and of course, the vacancy count. Then last part of both the establishment and skill survey form is yung certification or authorization. So this part certifies the accuracy and truthfulness of the data provided by the sample establishment. Furthermore, it says that they are authorizing DOLE to include their profile in our database. So this will be signed po nung establishment representative, then yung administered, yung hero yung magsasign dito, and yung encoded by, in our setup po, it would be also the GIP heroes yung mag-encode din. Okay. The other form naman po, or the other tool is yung skills survey form. So ito pong form na ito is very similar with the NSRP form for applicants registered. So divided po ito into 8 sections. First is the demographic profile or yung personal information ng household member. Then the job, we will also be including yung employment status niya, then yung job preference niya, yung top 3 preferred occupations, the preferred work location, indicating if it's overseas or local, then the highest educational attainment, then the technical or vocational training, and other skills acquired without certificate. We will also be getting kung sila po ba ay eligible, CSC eligible, and meron silang professional license. And one of the most important part ng form is kung ano yung preferred intervention nila. If they would like to take the track ng livelihood, ng skills training, employment facilitation ba, reintegration program, productivity toolbox, or employment compensation benefits. So, from this information then, nasabi po ni Andrea kanina, dito natin makakonect yung ibang track ng mission race. No? Should the sample or the household member indicate na gusto niya mag-livelihood, then the livelihood, we could now connect the sample or the household member to the livelihood component of the mission race. So final part, similar sa ating establishment survey form, is yung certification or authorization. Again, to be signed by the household member, then the interviewer, and kung sino po yung mag-encode nitong form into the system. Okay. So basically, the survey would cover all establishments and households within the locality. So note that only household members within the working population age group 15 years and above will be interviewed. Then the complete list of establishments and household members shall be secured before the conduct of the survey. A monthly progress report will be submitted by local heroes and will be consolidated by Hero Support for submission to the race coordinator. So we have, since the program or yung mismong survey would run, I think for 3 months from July, August, September, if I'm not mistaken. So, kakailanganan na mag-submit ng mga heroes ng ating through the hero support or yung hero from the regional office ng monthly progress report so that dito sa central office we could see kung gano'n na ba karami or kung gano'n na kalaki yung nako-cover ng ating mga heroes sa barangay. So yung template po neto, we also prepared the template. I-flash na lang po namin. Okay. So here's the template po in Excel format. Basically, divided lang naman siya into 3 parts. First is yung total number ng na-interview na households, disaggregated by sex, and ilalagay nyo dito sa per month kung ilan yung na-accomplish na. So note na hindi ito cumulative, no? So kung ilan lang talaga na-accomplish nyo for that month, yun lang ilalagay nyo. Then second part is yung total number of interviewed establishments as well as yung vacancies solicited. So yung vacancy count ito from the form. Disaggregated again by month. Then final part is yung general profile of household samples. So kung ilan doon yung employed and unemployed na makukuha nyo rin naman yung information dun sa mismong form na finash kanina. Okay. So we move on sa roles of the heroes. Okay, so I've seen a question kanina sa chat box na kung sino ba yung mag-interview and mag-encode. So basically, ito po yung sagot dun sa tanong. So the heroes or the GIPs will conduct the survey in the localities and establishments and encode it in an Excel form or through the BSK mobile application once available. So since wala pa tayong BSK mobile application, for the meantime, we will be using an Excel form na naka-link sa Google Drive para live nating makikita yung data. So later, we discuss ni Ms. Camille yung itsura ng Excel form na yan. Then the local heroes or the pesos will consolidate all results and prepares a summary and analysis consolidated report to the hero support or RO. While the heroes or the GIPs, sila yung nag-encode, sila nag-interview, nag-encode, vital din yung role ni PESOC because kailangan, remember that manual kasi yung encoding natin. So medyo prone to sa human error. So it is the role of the local hero or the PESOC to ensure na tama yung na-encode. No? Then the hero support or from the ROs would verify reports submitted by the local heroes for submission to the race coordinator or central office. So as you can see, may dalawang layer na dinadaanan yung data from the ground. So after ma-encode ni hero na GIP sa Excel form, i-check siya ni local hero, and dadaan pa ulit siya sa regional office or sa hero support, no? So we can ensure the accuracy and the reliability ng data na ini-input natin. Then finally, the race coordinator or those who are assigned here in the central office would monitor and consolidate nationwide results of the LMI profiling survey. So moving forward po, Ms. Camille Esanisla would be discussing yung ating Excel format and the survey tables. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Camille from the Bureau of Local Employment. So as Micah mentioned, I will be discussing, I will present to you the Excel form that we will use in encoding the profiles of the household samples and yung mga establishments. So let me just share my screen. I mean, share the Excel file. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Can the DLE, someone from the DLE Secretariat can confirm?
Hi, Cams. I think it's still loading, but it already says here you have started sharing your screen. I think it's still loading, but we can't see the Excel sheet yet.
Okay, hold on.
So while waiting for Camille, we'd like to remind everyone again to please rename your profile to your agency or your office, then your name for the attendance verification purposes po. So you may see in the list of participants an example po, like for us, Dole BLE, and then my name, Andrea Adorio. Also, apart from the updated version of our briefer, yes, we will send you a copy of our presentations po for today, as well as the updated forms that Ms. Micah presented earlier. So don't worry po, bibigyan po namin kayo ng copy or access po sa isang Google Drive link where all of the presentations are uploaded there po.
Okay.
Ayan.
How about
There
now, Andrew?
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay, so here is the template for the establishment survey. So dito po natin i-encode yung information na makukuha natin from the forms. So you can see here we have columns for region, peso, barangay, and we will be having the unique ID number. So ito po yung magiging unique identifier natin per establishment. We will also encode here the establishment name. If ever may abbreviation, ilalagay po natin dito. Also, i-include natin yung, i-identify natin kung yung establishment ba ay main office or branch lang. Also, ilalagay rin natin kung ano ba yung tax identification number nila. Kung anong employer type sila, kung direct hire ba or through local recruitment agency, as well as yung employment size, kung micro, small, medium or large enterprise sila. Of course, i-encode din natin yung address and nakalagay dito kung ano yung barangay, city or municipality, kung saang province, kung saang region, and information din of the owner, kung sino yung owner ng establishment, as well as yung contact person at position ng contact person. Ilalagay natin din dito yung telephone or contact details such as telephone, cell phone numbers, pati fax. Also, yung email address, total number of workers, and during the pre-pandemic period, ilalagay din natin dito kung ilan yung male, kung ilan yung managerial employees, supervisory employees, rank and file employees during nung pre-pandemic period. So sa post-lockdown naman, i-include natin dito kung ano yung total number of workers, ilan dito yung male, ilan yung managerial employees, supervisory, rank and file employees. Ayan, lalagay din natin dito kung ano ba yung work arrangement nila nung nag-resume sila ng business. Kung if they're implementing flexible work arrangement or naka full operations na sila. Okay, ilalagay din natin dito kung kailan sila in-interview, kailan na-encode yung information, and if ever may remarks, ilalagay natin dito. Yung name, yung names ng nag-interview and nag-validate ng information ay dito ilalagay. So, medyo mahaba yung Excel file natin, but ito yung mga vital information na kailangan natin ma-capture. Sa ngayon kasi hindi pa siya, wala pang available na drop-down list dito sa mga columns, like for example, yung employer type, para hindi na tayo mahirapan mag-type ng paulit-ulit ng, for example, direct hire. As you can see here, paulit-ulit siya. Para mas madali, kagawa na lang kami ng parang drop-down list. Check nyo na lang, or automatic na siyang mag-i-input pag nakapag-insert na kayo or nakapag-input kayo ng keywords, as well as dun sa employment size. We will see kung kakayanan namin kung pati sa barangay, city, municipality, and province, kung makakagawa kami ng drop-down dito. Medyo malaki kasi yung list nung or code, hindi pala codes, but list ng mga provinces and cities, municipalities nationwide. Ayan. So ito yung sa establishment survey form. Doon naman sa skills survey form, i-share ko sa inyo yung form. Hold on. Here you go. Can everyone see my, can everyone see the skill survey sample form? Micah?
Yes, Camille.
Okay. Okay. So, dito naman, basically, same format lang siya. Madami lang din tayong column. So, dito natin i-encode lahat ng mga information galing dun sa form. So, we have the personal information, including yung demographics nila, kung saan sila nakatira, anong age, sex, employment status, contact details, kung anong educational attainment nila. Ayan. Also, we capture if 40s beneficiary ba sila, kung sino yung mga persons with disabilities and anong type of disability yung meron sila. We will also encode here kung ano ba yung mga preferred positions at kung civil service eligible ba sila and kung meron silang professional license. Okay. So I think vital here dito sa form na to yung pag-i-include natin ng preferred intervention, kung anong track ba yung gusto nilang ikunin or i-avail, like kung livelihood ba, skills training, employment facilitation, and or other services na kaya natin i-provide sa kanila. Also, ilalagay natin dito kung kailan sila in-interview, kung kailan in-encode, at sino yung nag-interview and sino yung nag-validate. So, katulad din sa isang form, lalagyan na natin dito para mas madaling mag-encode yung mga drop-down lists. Ayan. Going back pala, bukod po doon sa establishment survey form, meron din tayong form for the vacancies. Here. Ayan. So, nakalagay dito yung establishment name and kung ano yung ID number ng establishment name, ano yung position title, yung nature of work, ilan yung count ng vacancies per position, kung nag-a-accept ba sila ng persons with disabilities, nag-a-accept ba sila ng OFWs, and ano yung mga qualification. Ayan. So we will also encode here kung kailan ba yung posting date at kung kailan valid yung posting na yun. Okay. Now, ano ba yung makukuha natin dito sa results ng survey na ito? Let me share it. Let's go back to my presentation. Ayan. So from the establishment survey, ito yung mga makukuha natin na reports or results. So makukuha natin yung, of course, yung establishment profile, ano ba yung pre-COVID workforce nila and post-lockdown workforce, and current operational status. Kung yung mga establishments ba natin ay nakapag-resume na ng operation. Nakapag-resume ng operation pero flexible work arrangement, or nakapag-resume but in full operation. Also, makakapture natin kung ilan yung job vacancies, ano yung mga occupations na available, and saan. Sa skill survey naman, makukuha natin dito yung demographic profile ng household samples natin. Kung ilan, like for example, ilan yung female, male, ilan yung samples natin from a certain age group, mga ganong information. We can do that using our information encoded doon sa Excel sheet. Ma-identify din natin kung ano yung employment status nila, ano yung highest educational attainment, skill set ng workforce, and preferred intervention. So, balik tayo doon sa raw data, or I mean, sa form na pinasend ko kanina. And I will show to you kung paano ba natin makukuha yung mga ganong information. So, na-mention ni Micah kanina na since wala pa yung application, nagagamitin natin for the encoding, traditional pen and paper tayo, then we will encode it to the Excel sheet. So from the Excel sheet, doon tayo magpa-process ng data. So start tayo doon sa skills survey form. Okay. So meron tayong two types or two methods ng pag-process ng data na appropriate process na gagamitin natin sa pagkuha ng information na kailangan natin. So gagamitin natin sorting and pivoting lang. So basic Excel functions lang yung gagamitin natin. So kung sorting, mabilis lang siya gawin. So, for example, ang hinahanap natin, ilan ba yung total, unahin muna natin yung pag-identify kung ilan yung total skills, ilan yung total samples. Ayan. So, lagi nating tatandaan na ang bibilangin natin lagi ay yung unique identifier para ma-avoid natin yung duplication or pagka-count ng paulit-ulit na names. Kasi hindi pwedeng may mga pare-parehas po ng pangalan, may pare-parehas ng birthday. So ito yung pinaka-unique identifier natin, yung ID number. As you can see here, yung ID number natin, sample lang ito, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lang. But mag-create siguro ang BLE team ng unique ID number format. So kung bibilangin natin yan, mabilis lang, i-highlight lang natin yung lahat ng ID numbers. Okay. So dito sa sample form na to, sample raw data, meron tayong 2,093 na samples. Makikita niyo siya dito sa ilalim. Sa babang part. Count 2093. Okay. So, kung sorting naman, let's say, for example, we're counting kung ilan ba yung female or male. So, highlight lang natin yung table. Yung buong table. Then, we go to data. Then we press sort. We filter pala. We press filter. Okay, so punta tayo din sa column ng sex. Then we press the arrow down. Tapos select lang natin female. Yan. So automatic. Mafi-filter niya na yung raw data na kung ilan lang yung female. So when we count, we highlight lang the column of sex. Ayan. So we have 1,050 female. So useful siya pag kailangan mo lang ng quick info. Pero pag gagawa na tayo ng reports, mas madali. Of course, kung magpipivot tayo. If magpipivot tayo, ang first step is to highlight the table. Then we click insert dito sa taas. Then select pivot table. Okay. Ayan. So nandito na tayo sa pivot sheet. Dito natin malalaro yung data na gusto nating makuha. So if we're counting kung ilan, let's say, ilan yung household samples na nakatira, ilan yung household samples per region. So from the pivot table fields dito sa field name, click natin yung ID number because that's the unique identifier. Then we drag it under values. Since we're counting, yung data natin should show as count, not sum. Then, since we're identifying kung ilan yung samples per region, ang kukunin natin na isa pang indicator ay yung region, then i-drag it sa rows. Ayan. For A lang yung nandito sa yung lumabas na result, yun lang yung na-count niya. Pero if merong mga iba pang regions na may mga samples na na-encode under sa ibang regions, lalabas din siya dito. So, isa pang sample. Gusto nating makuha kung ilan yung female and male. Click lang natin yung sex, then we drag it sa rows. So, automatic, makukuha mo na yung number. Ilan yung female, ilan yung male. So, we have 1,050 females and 1,043 females. So, sample pa tayo ng, for example, employment status naman yung hinahanap natin. So, makikita natin dito ilan yung employed, ilan yung unemployed, at ilan yung hindi nag-declare. Yung blank, ito yung mga hindi nag-declare ng kanilang employment status. So, easy as that. Ganon tayo makakapag-generate ng reports. Makikita naman natin, pinakita kanina ni Micah kung ano yung progress reports na kailangan natin i-submit monthly. So, ito lang yung gagamitin natin na method ng pagkuha ng reports from the Excel file. So, kung ano yung ginawa natin dito sa skill survey sample raw data na process, ganun din yung i-apply natin sa pagkuha ng results doon sa other surveys, sa establishment and raw data. So, for those na hindi pa masyadong marunong sa basic functions ng Excel, madali lang naman siyang matutunan. Actually, before, hindi rin ako ganun ka marunong and through practice lang talaga. And since kailangan talaga siya sa work, natututunan ko na lang din siya, of course, with the help of my colleagues. So, I know hindi agad mag-grasp ito ng ganito, ng isang beses lang namin present, you have to practice din. So, pag naman nag-start na tayo ng rollout and na-experience yun na siyang na-experience yun na mag-encode and mag-process, matututunan natin yung mga basic functionalities na kailangan natin matutunan. Okay. Okay, I guess that ends our presentation. I think we have an open forum after this. Tama ba, Andrea?
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Cams. So we have few questions and requests here sa ating chat box. So wait, medyo napuno lang ng email addresses, but let me backtrack our chat box. Okay, hold on. So we have here a question from Mr. Florencio. Why 1 LGU and 10 barangays only in Region 5? So I think Ms. Liza, our division chief from the Employment Service and Program Management Division, can answer that, Ms. Liza.
Thank you, Andrea. Um, no, I have answered Mr. Florencio in the chat box, but for the benefit of everyone, for all our peso regional peso focal are all here. Our LGU pesos are also here in this meeting. Ever since we are asking for the peso survey, and if you would recall, for the past 2 years, there's always a question there that is asking the LGU if you have a barangay peso, and if yes, you indicate. So yun po ang naging basehan namin, cut-off of 2020. Yun pong figures na yon ay nanggaling po sa mismong sumagot ng survey na kayo mismong mga peso. So yun po ang binilang namin. But since we only arrived at 274, that doesn't mean po na yung iba ay hindi na natin mapagbibigyan. So yesterday we had a regional meeting with the regional offices, and since this is just a pilot, yung success po nitong program na to ang magiging benchmark para palawakin ang ating programa for next year. Hopefully, if you know, it's a budget call already by next month or August, and the DOLE is already proposing as early as now na ma-cover po sana natin lahat ng LGU. So that yun po. Ang kasagutan natin doon sa bakit iisa lang yung sa Region 5 covering 10 barangays. And siguro I'd like to take this opportunity na rin, kanina na-discuss na ng ating first set of speakers yung sa labor market profiling at saka data processing. In yesterday's meeting, gusto kong iparating ng ating senior officials ang role ng local heroes. Kayo po ay itinalaga, nalagyan namin ng doleng staff na maging katuwang ng mga peso focal namin. Kaya kayo tinawag na yung local hero, nakadikit siya sa hero support na naka-angkla rin naman sa aming regional peso. Yesterday, intern sa baba, yung tools na pag-interview, yung GIP po ang gagawa nun eh. So talaga magbabahay-bahay po siya para masagutan ng bawat household. At yung nasagutan ay dapat i-encode niya, siya rin po yun. So ang role mo ngayon bilang local hero, kayo po yung aming mga bagong miyembro para sa mission race na ito. Dahil yung GIP ay taga-barangay ninyo. No? So ang pagbigay po ng kung ilan yung pupunta niya sa isang araw, nakasalalay po sa inyo. Pwede natin kasing gawing strategize na natin. Let's say Monday to Wednesday, umiikot siya sa within the barangay. Thursday, Friday, nag-e-encode naman siya. Now since yung output po ng GIP ay magiging input ninyong local hero para i-analyze, siyempre po kung wala siyang iniikot sa araw na yon, wala ka ring i-input. So maybe you could also have a strategy na baka pwedeng yung unang 1 o 2 linggo, kung masasamahan mo, nasa barangay din naman siya eh. Para at least yung pace ng work mas mabilis-bilis. Don't worry about the tools. We will teach you how to do that kasi ngayon po is more of an awakening. No? Kanya po nasabi rin kahapon, yung pagkuha ng GIP na yan, ang regional office po natin ang mag-i-screen kasi kung makikita nyo may konting kailangan kaalaman sa computer dahil mag-e-encode siya. No? So, and then we're only working on a time frame until I think October because consolidation na tayo sa later part of the year. So, as to the question kanina, kasi sino ang gagawa? So, malinaw po ang GIP, ang intern sa barangay, siya ang iikot at siya ang mag-i-encode. Si local hero ang mag-a-analyze kung ano ang resulta ng mga pinag-i-interview niya doon sa lokalidad nila. And the peso naman will consolidate all this data kasi yung intervention ang kailangan nating malaman. ilan ang gusto ng livelihood, ilan ang gusto ng employment, ilan ang gustong mag-skills training, ilan ang bumalik na OFW. Yun po yung pinakitang matrix ni Camille kanina, no? Ni Camille kanina. Parang no? Parang ang lawak niya. Pero actually, isa lang yung source niya, yung pinanggalingan dun sa form. Isa-isa lang. Madali naman siya i-filter. We will teach you how to do that on a daily basis. Siguro ang aming tinitingnan namin. No? So we'll just check the flow on how this will be done. Lastly, we would need, kasi bawat lokalidad ho, ay hindi natin alam kung ilan yung population nyo dyan. So para in fairness to everyone, kasi we want to cover 100%. But we will not know how many is 100% unless we get to know the total population. And I know that it's on the barangay, through the barangay secretary, that the GIP will be able to get that data. Pa-assist na lang po si local peso dahil kayo ay nasa nasa LGU eh. At in that LGU may barangay secretary doon eh, di ba? Na pwedeng makuha yung data. What the latest data is, it could be March 2021, it could be December 2020. So yun po yung takbo natin, no, for this one. I saw the chat box flooded with email addresses. So we're capturing all your emails now so that we could send the presentation. I would like to assume that during the registration, na-miss out nyo lang po ba ito? Dun sa, or dahil magkakasama yung iba sa isang room, kaya yung iba ay hindi tawag dito, hindi nakapag-register ng sarili niya kasi nakalimit din naman po tayo sa 100 participants. But we will send you all the presentation. And diretso ko lang ka na, Andrea. Meron yatang tanong here.
Sige pa. Miss Lisa,
pwede record. Yeah.
sige pa. Miss Julian is raising her hand po. Yes, Miss Julian, you're acknowledged po.
Hi, thank you, Miss Andrea. Mag-clarify lang ako dun sa major industry group.
Yeah.
Kung ano yung ifa-follow natin, kung yung PSA ba or yung PISOK?
Camille, ano ba ang ginawa niyong format dito? Baka kayo ang right person to answer.
Ako na lang, Camille. Anyway, hi Miss Julian. Yung sa industry po, yung PISIC po, yung 22 po, yung Philippine Standard Industry Classification. Yung PISOK po refers to Philippine Standard Occupation
So PISIC.
Classification po. PISIC po. Opo.
Alright. Pwede bang i-request namin na Dropbox na lang siya instead?
Yes po, ma'am. Dropbox
Okay.
na po.
Sige, thank you.
Alright, dagdag ko lang para sa ating mga local hero. May pisik-pisok na sinasabi dito, no? Na maybe an alien word for you at the moment, but because we are joined by our Peso Regional Focal, and they will be really they are able people to teach you, no? So that you will be able to produce the data that would be needed.
Okay, sige po. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification, Ms. Maika, Ms. Liza. So moving forward, I'll be reading down different questions po na we have from our chat box. So we have here from Ms. Fe Paklipan. She was asking kung sino po yung interviewer and encoder. So kanina po nasa presentation nila Ms. Maika, ang mag-interview po sa establishments and households ay si GIP or si Heroes po natin. And sila rin po yung mag-encode dun sa Excel sheet na present po ni Camille earlier. And then another question po from Dole Bohol with regards sa Productivity Toolbox. So yung Productivity Toolbox po ay isang programa ni NWPC which later on din po ay i-discuss natin in the afternoon. So today po mag-focus po muna tayo sa Labor Market Profiling Survey and then later on po i-discuss natin yung different interventions kung saan po natin pwede i-refer yung mga households po na kung nawalan ng work, kung gusto ba nilang mag-attend ng further training na ipoprovide natin sa Mission Race, gusto ba nila ng employment opportunities that we have here sa BLE. So yun po yung mga interventions po na present natin kanina sa form, no? So don't worry po, as mentioned again ni Ms. Liza, we will provide you a copy of these forms and PowerPoint presentations po para po ma-review po nyo ulit after this orientation. So, ayun din po na sabi rin po kanina ni Ms. Liza sa chat box na the GIP or yung hero nga po natin na naka-assign sa barangay is tasked to be the interviewer and encoder in the locality where the GIP is assigned. And then another question po that we have here is from Dollar Regional Office 2. Will there be a system built for all of these data po? So I believe yun din po yung na-mention kanina ni Ms. Maika, no, na currently we are working or we're already in the process of partnering with Balikatan sa Kaunlaran Incorporated. So CBSK po, yung magda-develop yung tinatawag nating My Hero, My Dole mobile application. So at the moment po, magiging manual po muna yung pag-conduct ng ating interview through the forms na present po natin kanina. So mano-mano po muna habang dine-develop natin yung mobile app. And then kalaunan po kapag na-develop na yung mobile app, yun na po yung gagamitin natin pang-encode para mas madali po sa ating system. So if you're wondering saan po natin i-store yung data na to, what we're trying to do is to incorporate it or integrate it dun sa ating tinatawag na PACE, sorry. So itong sa PACE na to, ito yung ating database kung saan nakastore lahat ng ating information. So what we're still trying to develop, no, we're still on the works about it. But rest assured po na we'll give you any updates kung paano po natin i-store yung data and ano pong gagawin natin sa data. But for the meantime po, what we're trying to orient you with is how do we gather the data first, no? So maybe Ms. Maika or Camille can add something to that, or any additional information po with regards to the system that was being asked?
Yes, Andrea. So tama naman, nasa ngayon is what we're proposing is sa Google Drive muna siya, then the central office will consolidate the data. So from there, makaka-generate pa rin naman tayo ng required information. But moving forward, yung sa BSK, hopefully is ma-launch siya as soon as possible para mas madali and mas real-time yung makuha nating information. Thank you.
So, thank you so much. Yes, go ahead, Camille.
Just to add, baka lang may wonder if kung ipapasok sa PACE yung information na makukuha natin from RACE, we're proposing na hindi siya ihahalo dun sa ating regular database kasi hindi sakto yung information or hindi parehas yung information na kinakapture natin for the RACE and for the regular NSRP. So, we're planning or we're proposing na magkakaroon ng different module for the RACE. Like kung ano yung ginagawa natin sa PESA. Ayan.
Yeah. So, ayan. So, for now po, hindi po muna siya naka-connect or naka-integrate sa PACE, but we're still working on that po. But yun nga po, rest assured that we'll keep you furnished for any updates kung ano man po yung magiging progress ng ating partnership with BSK. Ms. Julian, you're still raising your hand po, or another question, ma'am?
Yes, another question kasi na-mention yung role ng GIP pagdating nung application. Just in case na meron na yung application natin, kaninong gadget yung magagamit ng survey? Gadget ba nung GIP na personal or may ipaprovide din na fund to purchase the gadget?
Okay, I can answer that. Yesterday, that was brought up in the meeting with the regional directors. Okay. Forms reproduction muna tayo. As you could see, kayo pong mga peso na nandyan, di ba parang yung forms na binibigay ni Dole ay dire-reproduce nyo. So in the same manner, because you need the data from the barangay, no? So in terms of the supplies, kumbaga ito naman sana yung inilalapit naming share ng barangay na sila ang mag-provide ng mga papel na gagamitin, considering that the output of the output of the data that will be given will serve as intervention naman ni Dolly ulit papunta dun sa barangay. So as far as siguro sa barangay ang kailangan natin is space, a table for the GIP. And kung wala siyang computer, okay, the GIP could go to the local hero. No, I suppose all the PESO LGUs here have their own computers dahil sa record ho namin, ang nabigyan namin ng computer ay kayong mga PESO. Hindi pa, first time po namin talaga bumaba sa barangay ngayon. So nagiging katuwang ni PESO ngayon si barangay dahil instead na kayo yung dating umiikot para makuha yung mga data, may taga-ikot na po kayo pero gag-guide nyo nga lang po. So as far as gadget, at the moment, since BSK is still developing the mobile app, kung may gadget si GIP, dun sa gadget niya. But since palagay natin baka August pa niya magawa yon at umaandar na ang programa po, so beginning next week, kung medyo meron na kayong itinerary, muna tayo, paper and pen talaga muna. Reproduction of supplies, baka pwedeng pag-usapan ng LGU PESO at nung covered barangay.
Thank you, ma'am, sa clarification. Just in case lang, ma'am, meron din po bang admin costs na ibababa sa regional office to cover yung reproduction ng form?
Parang wala ako nakita sa budget. Kasi ang sweldo ng GIP at ng local hero ay yun ang diretsong sinagot ni Dole kasama ang GSIS insurance ng ating mga GIP. And that's about 483 million. None in the supplies part did I see. But I'm sure ang mga LGU may mga supplies item din naman sila na pwede sigurong kung ako yung barangay din kasi at ang iikutin mo ay mga constituents ko at ito pala ay bibigyan mo ng matutulungan mo sa employment or livelihood. Kumbaga parang ito yung shared natin responsibility.
Okay po, ma'am, noted. Thank you.
Ma'am Lisa, good morning po. Yes, Ma'am Lisa. Just a rejoinder lang po dun sa concern ni Miss Julian. Naka-receive na po kasi kami ng ADL po. Pero may nakalagay po dito na administrative cost na 275,000 for Region 7 po. So hindi po namin siya pwede magamit for the reproduction of forms, ma'am.
Yung admin cost makiklear sa FMS ang composition niya kasi parang di ba pag may GIP tayo, may admin cost talaga tayong nakalagay dyan?
Oo po, kasali po siya doon sa
yun.
salary ng GIP. Yung breakdown niya po. So parang nasa incorporated doon po siya sa salary ni GIP. Tapos may nakalagay na admin cost.
So, ano yung paano natin gawin yung GIP, whether it is for child labor, yung mga nire-request ng inyong mga tawag dito, partner LGUs, yung 3% admin cost is really for the region, kung ano yung cost nyo dyan. No? Kasi yung salary ng GIP natin at saka yung GSIS natin, intact siya, di ba, based on the minimum wage sa region.
Yes po. Okay po. So baka doon po siya kukunin din po yung sa service charge ng service provider natin doon po sa paghulog ng mga salaries ng GIPs.
Yes, oo. Kung kakasya, tingnan nyo, pag-aralan nyo po.
Sige. Thank you po, Ma'am Lisa.
Ma'am, sorry. Another clarification. Thank you, Ma'am Amy, dun sa clarification na yun. Just in case na direct hire yung mga local heroes natin and yung mga heroes, so hindi magagamit yung admin cost kung sakali. Kung base sa ADL na yun.
We have forwarded sa Dole ito ng mga nagtatanong. Yung request for direct hire instead of outsource is still with FMS. And kasi mas maganda yung magiging ang admin cost ang direct hire natin at outsource. I'm talking for the local hero to ha. Kasi ang GIP mo, ano naman talaga, based on regional wage, di ba? So you're referring kung ang hero support mo ay direct hire or outsource. So antayin po natin si FMS dahil yun na lang ang naka-pending namin sa kanila para magamit nyo yung admin cost.
Okay. So, moving forward po, no, additional question din po. I think this was answered already. By the way, so a question from Peso Tagbilaran. Clarification lang po, who will provide for the list of establishments or households to be interviewed by the GIPs? So I think yun yung minimension ni Ms. Maika kanina po, no? Ms. Maika, ano nga po ulit tawag doon sa form na, sa source ng data na po yun?
ULM, sorry Andre, ano yan? Yung
list of establishments and households na apart yung not PSA, the other one, sorry, I forgot.
yung kahapon, parang Sir Denver is referring to CBMS. Yun ba yun?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
saan daw po nila pwedeng makuha yung list of establishments or households na idea.
Yan, as mentioned by Chief Liza sa Barangay Secretary po.
Ayun. Okay. So, moving forward, we have another question. I think na-answer na rin po ito ni Ms. Liza. Yung question po ni Ms. Lilian, concern lang po, possible po ba to provide laptop or desktop for the encoder? So, for at the moment po, no, what we're trying to is sana makapag-provide muna si Peso at the LGU level para mapahiram po ng gadget sina GIP po to encode the data na na-gather nila from the interview. From Dolet Regional Office 10 or Field Office, ma'am, may we know who will provide the forms for the production, etc.?
Barangay.
Barangay po. Okay. And then from Miss Fe, again, ang local hero po ba ay merong traveling allowance?
Okay, our local hero, ito yung nasa LGU naka-assign, no? And if you would notice, the salary of the local hero ay walang pinili, hindi siya based sa regional wage. 20,000 lahat sila. Therefore, diyan niya na rin kukunin yung kanya kung kailangan niyang medyo bisitahin or yung GIP, yung ganyan. Doon na rin po. Mas mataas po yung rate na yan ang mga region. In fact, based on the feedback that I got from some of the LGUs, yung local hero nila sa LGU, ang kukunin daw nila ay yung mga ibang volunteers sa LGU na sumusweldo lang ng 8,000, 10,000. Iwan ko muna yung volunteer work ko dyan, maghihiro muna ako. No? But they have to apply with our regional office. Kasi ang regional office po ang mag-hire sa kanila. Kung based dun sa tasking na gagawin nila. So wala po tayong traveling allowance, intact na po dun sa sweldo.
So, thank you po, Ms. Liza. Speaking of the salary po, no, additional question po from Ms. Arlene. How about the social benefits of the local heroes? Meron po ba siya?
Just salary po ang naka...
Okay. Sige po. So, from Dollar Regional Office 6, do we have an estimate timeline po when magiging available yung mobile app? We cannot give a definite date yet, but rest assured that we're working na po on that. It's a work in progress na po, partnership with BSK. And hopefully, as soon as possible po, we can give you updates on the mobile application po. But right now, we cannot give a definite date yet.
Ay, matanong ko lang. Kasi yung app would need a cellphone. So, paki-check nga kung lahat ng GIP nyo ay may cellphone. Kasi that could be a data input for BSK. Second, we're also asking BSK kasi syempre may cellphone nga, wala namang load. So, kaya medyo nasagot ni Andrea na medyo work in progress siya because we would like to use that app na talagang magagamit ng GIP kung may load. So, medyo ano pa kami, tawag dito, we are discussing paano ang load nito, paano ang data privacy nito, kasi data po and BSK is an NGO, third party, so we have to ensure that the Data Privacy Act is respected, is observed. But don't worry, even while ongoing pa si BSK, pwede pa rin tumuloy na si GIP doing the surveying sa mga lokalidad.
Okay, thank you. So I think we'll just answer one last question since it's almost 10:45. So we can proceed with the next presenter po. So last question po muna from Miss Leana. Ma'am, regarding po sa allowance ng local heroes, mare-reverse po ba yung mare-reverse po ba yung transportation? Miss Leana, if you can open your mic po, we'd like to clarify po what do you mean with the transportation allowance po? Miss Leana? Okay, I think baka nagkaka-audio problem lang si ma'am. But if you can type in po to further clarify your questions po, we'd be happy to respond through the chat box na lang po. So again, as I've mentioned po, we'll proceed with the next presenter po, no? If you have further questions po, or if may maisip pa po kayong additional questions with regard to the LMI survey, please feel free to type it in your chat box, and then later on po we have another question and answer portion before our lunch break. So we'll answer to that, or hopefully or reply directly po sa ating chat box.
I think Andrea, hindi siya reverse, baka mare-reimburse. Oo. So you have to talk with the regional office, and that's the reason na intern ay taga-barangay. So we would prevent na yung mga nagpapamasahe unless really needed, kung may validate actual if ever, but that would be approved by the regional office po. I think reimburse, hindi reverse. Communication allowance, well, siguro bago umalis ng field, malinaw na instruction para para ma-avoid natin yung mga text na naka-charge sa atin, no?
Okay.
So with that, I know the next speaker is already available, Andrea, at mas very interesting ang kanyang magiging topic, dahil sa totoo lang, when we go to the grassroots, ang favorite po nila, livelihood. Thank you, Andrea.
So tawa ka dyan. So ayun nga po, ngayon na napag-usapan na natin, pagkatapos po nating mag-survey, pagkatapos nating interviewin yung ating households and local establishments, what do we do next? So ito na po papasok, saan natin sila i-refer, ano po yung mga other interventions na pwede nating i-offer sa ating community, no? So to give us an overview on BWSC's livelihood programs, may I invite Ms. Maria Lourdes Gonzalez, Chief Labor and Employment Officer from the Bureau of Workers with Special Concerns. Ms. Chiki, the floor is yours po.
Good morning sa lahat. Clear ba ang aking audio?
Yes, ma'am. Would you like us to start with DLIP or TUPAD?
BILP na lang muna. Ito na, mag-share screen na ako.
Okay, sure. No problem, ma'am. Sige po.
Okay, nakikita?
Yes, ma'am. Clear po.
Okay, wait lang. Sige, good morning to everyone. Natawa naman ako sa sinabi ni Ms. Lisa. Anyway, what I'll be presenting to you today, no, particularly dun sa ating mga bagong hired na heroes, no, is one of the most popular. Actually, hindi one. Siya talaga yung sa ngayon, most popular program ng DOLE. Flagship program po ito ng DOLE. And I will not be discussing more on the roles, no, kasi na-discuss naman na siya previously ng DLE, except that with the DILP, hindi tayo magsasurvey or mag-encode ng mga sa questionnaires that were presented earlier. But what you will be doing is more on coordination and monitoring of the livelihood commitments under the mission race. Okay? So medyo hindi na po mahihirapan yung ating mga heroes kasi identified na po in which areas yung livelihood commitment. So hindi na nila kailangan magbahay-bahay. Ano? Except of course kung talagang gusto pa nilang i-promote yung program. But as it is now, our regional offices have already submitted their livelihood commitments under the mission race. So yun yung inyong tututukan for that particular project. Okay. So what is more important now is for you to know and appreciate what the program is all about. Okay. So I'll be starting with the DOLE Integrated Livelihood Program. Okay. So as I have mentioned, ito yung pinaka-popular ngayon na programa ng DOLE. So ano ba yung DOLE Integrated Livelihood Program? So ito yung ating grant assistance for capacity building on livelihood para sa ating mga working poor, vulnerable, and marginalized workers. At ito ay pwedeng maging individual or group livelihood undertaking. So pag sinabi nating grant, hindi ito loan, no? Walang kailangan bayaran ng ating mga prospective beneficiaries. So bigay ito ng gobyerno para sa kanila so that they can start a small livelihood at masupport nila yung kanilang pangangailangan, no? Yung daily needs nila through the livelihood program ng DOLE. Okay. For most pesos na nandito ngayon, and of course yung ating mga regional staff, alam na nila to, no? So this is some sort of a refresher na lang for them. But for the heroes, I would like you to please appreciate the program kasi medyo, hindi naman siya mahirap, ano? But medyo komplikado kasi this is a proposal tendering program. So hindi siya basta ibinibigay lang. There are some requirements and processes to be followed. Okay? So under the DILP, meron tayong tatlong components. Okay? First is the kabuhayan formation, which we give to the working poor, no, and the marginalized workers sa informal sector. Pwede rin yung formal, ano, if they are sa rank and file, no, hindi yung mga nasa supervisory positions. Okay? So ito yung para makapagsimula sila. They can start individual or group livelihood undertaking. Okay? Maliit lang naman yung ating assistance dyan. Okay? Later on, makikita ninyo yung difference ng assistance sa individual at saka sa group undertakings. The second component is the kabuhayan enhancement. Ito naman is for those who already have existing livelihood projects at gusto nilang ma-enhance. No? Gusto nilang palaguin or gusto nilang mag-diversify into another project that's also related sa kanilang first project. So bibigyan din natin sila ng assistance dyan para mas lalong mapalago yung kanilang livelihood. And then yung third component is the kabuhayan restoration. Ito ay, we give this to those that we have previously assisted pero nasira, no, yung kanilang livelihood or naapektuhan ng bagyo, ng lindol, or any calamity for that matter. At nawala yung kanilang livelihood. So ang gagawin natin dito under the restoration component is ibabalik natin sa kanila. So kung for example, ang kanilang project before is parang mini bakery, no? Nasira yan ng lindol. So kung ano yung assistance na pinrovide natin sa kanila noon, ibibigay ulit natin sa kanila ngayon para makapagsimula sila ulit. At ma-restore nila yung dati nilang pinagkukuhanan ng kabuhayan. So meron naman tayong tinatawag na phases, no, of implementation. So hinati-hati natin yan para rin guided yung ating mga implementers on what to do sa pag-accept ng request for livelihood assistance. So first we have the pre-implementation phase. So dito nakapasok yung kung ano man yung kailangan na training ng ating mga prospective beneficiaries. Ibibigay natin under the pre-implementation phase. So we have here a list of some of the trainings na binibigay natin. Pero kung hindi naman nila kailangan, no need naman ibigay. No? So what I'm saying is dapat naka-specify doon sa proposal na isasubmit nila kung meron pa silang additional training na kailangan. Okay? So kung halimbawa, yung example ko kanina, they have a mini bakery at kailangan nila ng upgrading sa training, no? Sa pagiging baker. So pwede yun, as long as it is indicated in the project proposal. Okay? But take note na meron tayong cap, no? Maximum of 5,000 lang per beneficiary for those who will be directly involved. Okay. Anong ibig sabihin ng directly involved? Kasi for example, halimbawa ito ay isang group undertaking, no? At ang kanilang project again is mini bakery, pero 5 lang naman out of the say 25 members ng organization, 5 lang yung directly involved, meaning may baker ka, may taga salang, may taga-masa, etc. Whatever yung kanilang gagawin doon sa mini bakery, sila yung pwede nating bigyan ng training. No? Yung ibang members, hindi na, kasi hindi naman sila talaga directly na gumagawa for the project. No? Although part sila ng, they are considered as beneficiaries, pero hindi sila part ng project team mismo na gagawa kung ano man yung mga produkto nila doon sa mini bakery. Okay. So 5,000 ang ating maximum dyan. And of course, alam naman ito ng ating mga regional offices, meron tayong sinusunod na professional fees, no, na prescribed ng DBM. So nakabatay dyan yung ating mga rates na ibibigay if ever na kukuha sila ng resource person. Next phase, of course, yung implementation na. So dito na papasok yung pagbibigay natin ng assistance. Okay? Under the DOLE Integrated Livelihood Program, hindi po tayo nagbibigay ng cash. Hindi po pera yung binibigay natin sa ating beneficiaries, but the assistance comes in the form of raw materials, tools, jigs, equipment na kailangan nila to start a business. Okay. And then, of course, ito, kumbaga, mainstay na to sa lahat yata ng programa ngayon ng DOLE. We enroll them under the GPI ng GSIS. This is a group insurance na covered yung ating mga beneficiaries for 1 year. 1 year lang naman, no? On the assumption kasi na after a year at kumikita na yung kanilang project, they will be able to sustain yung kanilang microinsurance. Not necessarily with GSIS kasi hindi naman sila government employee, but meron kasing mga ibang institutions na nagbibigay ng mababa lang naman na premium para sa microinsurance. Okay, ang GPI po kasi is for government employees, but this is a special agreement with GSIS na ang insurer is DOLE at ang beneficiary is yung beneficiary, kaya sila pumayag, no, under the GPI insurance. Okay. And then sa post-implementation, of course, hindi naman ito pwede, actually hindi ito kayang ibigay ng ating mga heroes. Ano? Kasi ang trabaho naman nila is mostly sa monitoring and coordination lang. Ito ay binibigay na po ng ating mga regional offices, yung continuing technical and business advisory services. And dito papasok sa nasa right mo, tutulong yung ating mga heroes sa monitoring. As I have mentioned kanina, identified naman na yung mga livelihood projects or livelihood commitments under the mission race. So ito yung inyong mga i-monitor at you submit reports of course to the PESO, and then the PESO will submit the reports to the regional offices. Okay. So under the Kabuhayan program, we also provide other support services. No? One of which is the Common Service Facility. Kung familiar kayo, meron ding similar na programa ang DTI. They call it naman na SSF, no? Sa atin is CSF. Okay? So yung Common Service Facility, ito yung binibigay natin na mga equipment, no? Na pwedeng gamitin. Halimbawa, sa isang community, nag-request yung isang barangay, maraming marunong manahi sa kanila, sa community. So we will provide the barangay some units, no, mga sewing machine units, na lahat ng mga marunong manahi doon sa community na yun ay pwede gumamit itong mga common service facility na to, no, yung sewing machines. So matter of scheduling lang by the barangay people, no, kung sino-sino yung gagamit, anong oras, no, para naman mabigyan din ng pagkakataon, no, ng opportunity yung mga members of the community na makapanahi, no, at maibenta yung mga naitahin nilang damit o basahan o whatever. Parang this is giving opportunity for all members of the community na marunong manahe. So yun yung konsepto ng common service facility. But of course, there are other projects na pwede i-support under the CSF, no? Kung sa farmers, halimbawa, pwede natin silang grant ng ano to, yung sa bigas, parang pressure, no? Na lahat ng farmers ay pwede gumamit. Nagaya ng sabi ko kanina, they can do it by scheduling kung anong oras dapat gumamit si farmer 1, si farmer 2, etc. So this is the concept of the CSF. Another one is the training to production or the TCP. Ito naman is a training na merong tangible output. Okay. So pag sinabi nating tangible output, ibig sabihin nakikita 'yon, ano? Hindi siya ano tawag dito, hindi siya isang panaginip lang, no? But the output is there. For example, ang training nila is fabrication ng pedicab. Okay. Yung magiging output nila, meaning yung output na pedicab na magagawa nila from the training, ay ibibigay na sa kanila yon. It's now the choice of the beneficiary kung ibebenta niya yan, no? Para makakuha siya ulit ng puhunan to produce another pedicab. So yun na yung magiging simula ng kanyang livelihood undertaking. Or, sabi ko nga, depende sa choice ng beneficiary, pwedeng gamitin na niyang pangpasada yung kanyang pedicab na yon para meron din siyang earning every day kahit pa paano. So iyan naman yung konsepto natin ng PCP. Okay. And then just recently, last year actually, October, no, we launched the Free Bicicleta Project. Ito naman is the DOLE's response dun sa COVID-19, ano, na maraming workers natin, both from the formal and informal sectors, ang nawala ng trabaho because of the COVID issue. So nauso noon, no, if you remember, and umuulit siya ulit ngayon, ano, nauso yung online delivery, no? Online shopping and then delivery. So we thought of giving them this bicycle para makapag-go into the service delivery sila. So we tied up with Lala Move and Grab para maisama sila dun sa roster ng mga delivery people nila, no? Hanggang ngayon ay ongoing itong project na to, but hindi siya ganun kadami like unang bugso ng pag-implement ng project kasi noon talagang maraming nawala ng trabaho, no? But medyo humina siya nung first part nitong 2021. Tapos ngayon umuulit na naman siya kasi nagkaroon na naman tayo ng medyo mahabang lockdown, ano, at under GCQ and PCQ ba yun? So ngayon marami na naman yung nag-request na maka-avail itong ating previous project. But I don't think ito ay committed under the mission race, no? But if ever na meron kayong constituents who would like to avail, of course, depende yan sa availability ng funds ng ating livelihood program. So, categorization ng livelihood projects natin. Kanina, components yun, ano? Formation, enhancement, restoration. Ito naman ay yung categories, no? So, I have mentioned earlier na meron tayong individual undertaking at furthering group. So, under the group projects, meron pa tayong further classification dyan. First, we have the micro-livelihood na kung saan an organization na merong 15 to 25 members can avail of a maximum financial assistance of 250,000. Okay? So yun yung kanilang maximum na pwedeng ma-avail sa BILT. But itong mga amounts na nakalagay dito, hindi naman necessarily na kailangan na ibigay lahat, yung 250, yung 500, yung 1M. Everything would depend dun sa kanilang requirements, sa project requirements, no? Anong ibig kong sabihin doon? For example, yung kanilang project, balikan natin yung mini bakery na project. Meron silang mga inilagay na equipment na hindi naman related dun sa bakery project. So posible na yung 250,000 nila, tatanggalin of course ng ating mga evaluators sa region o sa provincial offices, yung mga equipment na hindi naman talaga kailangan para mag-operate yung mini bakery project. Okay. So halimbawa, ang worth ng equipment na yun ay 25,000. So ibig sabihin lang, yung 250 mo, mababawasan niya ng 225,000. So ang importante na ilalagay lang talaga ay yung mga equipment, tools, and raw materials na talagang kakailanganin for the project. Okay? So next, yung small livelihood, ito naman is for organizations who have 26 to 50 members and they can avail of up to a maximum of 500,000 para sa kanilang social na livelihood project. And last is the medium livelihood for members, for organizations with a membership of more than 50 members, no, 50 pataas, they can avail of a maximum of 1 million na livelihood assistance. Para naman sa individual, ang maximum assistance natin, this was just recently increased. Dati kasi it's only 20,000. So ngayon naging 30K na siya. And pareho din yung mechanics natin doon sa group. Depende yan doon sa kanyang project requirement. No? Specific para dito sa individual, meron tayong tinatawag na NegoCart, negosyo sa kariton. No? Ito yung binibigay natin sa mga ambulant vendors na alam niyo yung mga nakikita niyo minsan, di ba, na ang dudungis ng itsura ng kanilang mga cart na parang kung ako yung bibili, parang teka muna, sabi malinis ba to, no? Kasi yung itsura nga ng kanilang cart. Yung iba naman, walang cart, iba nakapatong lang sa semento yung kanilang patungan at nandoon na yung kanilang mga binibenta. So itong NegoCart is actually para matulungan sila na magkaroon ng representasyon, ano, yung kanilang mga paninda. So we are providing them with a mobile NegoCart. But others would opt na walang kasamang bike, no? Na stationary lang yung kanilang cart. No? But of course, everything would depend din sa gusto ng ating beneficiary. Kung gusto nilang walang bike, fine. Kung gusto nilang may bike na kasama at mobile, okay din yun. No? Basta ang kailangan lang ay hindi sila lalampas sa ating maximum na 30,000. Okay. So dito sa ating NegoCart, huwag niyo na pansinin yung mga standard logo kasi sa regional office naman yan. But we have to ensure na provided sila ng gloves, ng mask, ng hairnet, etc. para ito sa food safety. No? So sa handling ng kanilang mga paninda para masiguro na safe yung kanilang mga itinitindang kakanin o pagkain. And then, I don't know, but parang hindi yata naisama dito sa, okay, so i-discuss ko na lang. Apart from the NegoCart, meron tayong tinatawag na starter kit. Mukhang hindi na ilagay dito sa PowerPoint. Yung starter kit naman is kung ano yung gustong maging livelihood undertaking ng ating mga prospective beneficiaries. But we give priority to those na graduate na ng TESDA para hindi na sila kailangan pagbigyan ng additional training. Example, nag-graduate sila ng sewing, no? Training on sewing or handloom weaving sa TESDA. Okay? So from the trainee, nag-graduate sila from TESDA and then DOLE naman ang magbibigay ng kanilang mga gamit para masimulan nila yung kanilang livelihood undertaking using yung kanilang competency na nakuha out of the sewing training na ibinigay ng TESDA. So kung kailangan nila ng ng makina, ng sewing machine, so ipoprovide yan under the starter kit, no, sa DOLE na DILP. So we are working closely with TESDA on this, and ulitin ko lang, as much as possible, ang priority natin would be TESDA graduates for the starter kits. Okay, so sino ba yung mga eligible beneficiaries under the program? Okay, so makita ninyo sa screen, andito yung ating mga priority beneficiaries. Marami sila actually. So, nandiyan self-employed with insufficient income, marginalized and landless farmers, marginalized fisher folks, unpaid family workers, working women and youth, low wage, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, naka-red font dito are workers displaced or to be displaced. Ito yung mga workers natin na galing sa formal sector. Kasi if you'll notice, lahat halos ang nakalista rito, except for letters L and M, are from the informal sector. No? So itong letter G natin ay specific for those na manggagaling sa formal sector na nawalan ng trabaho or masasama sa retrenchment program ng isang establishment. So they can also avail of the livelihood program of DOLE. Yung letters L and M naman are special accommodations, no? Former rebels and victims of armed conflicts. Kasi may mga may mga specific na batas that all government agencies should provide assistance. Kaya pinasok natin sila as among the eligible beneficiaries ng ating DILP. Okay. And then dito sa left side, makita nyo, ang ating implementers shall ensure that none of the children of the livelihood beneficiaries are engaged in child labor. Because DOLE is also into the child labor prevention and elimination. No? May programa tayo dyan, which is also being handled by the Bureau of Workers with Special Concerns. So makita ninyo, nandito yung parents of child laborers, letter K. No? So sila ay kasama as among the priorities, but sabi ko nga, kailangan na-ensure ng ating implementers na kung bibigyan man natin ng livelihood assistance ang parents of child laborers, we have to ensure na hindi nila gagamitin yung mga anak nila para tulungan sila sa kanilang livelihood undertaking. Because ang ating ang ating policy is under the Child Elimination and Prevention Program is dapat ang bata ay nag-aaral, no? Dapat ang bata ay naglalaro, etc. Hindi siya dapat naghahanap buhay para sa pamilya, no? It's actually the parents' responsibility. No? So, yun yung ating kulatilla dito. Na even though we are saying na eligible sila sa ating livelihood program, they have to ensure na hindi nila gagamitin ang mga anak nila for that particular project that they are proposing to be financed by the DOLE Integrated Livelihood Program. Okay. So, sino naman yung hindi eligible na mag-avail? Because number one dyan is yung beneficiaries ng Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program, yung tinatawag nating 4Ps. So bakit hindi sila kasama? Meron na po kasing agreement dyan dito sa Central Office, no, DSWD and DOLE, na ang 4Ps beneficiaries ay i-assist lang natin once they have graduated from the 4Ps program. Meaning, wala na sila. Nakumpleto na nila yung, I think ngayon it's maximum of 5 years na lang sa 4Ps. No? So, pag nag-graduate na sila doon at meron silang current livelihood undertaking na ginagawa na, no, or existing out of the SLF ng DSWD, yung kanilang livelihood program doon sa DSWD, pwede natin sila i-accommodate na sa DILP para i-enhance yung kanilang current livelihood undertaking that was provided by DSWD as a beneficiary of the 4Ps program. Okay? Pero hanggat hindi sila gumagraduate sa 4Ps ng DSWD, hindi pa natin sila pwedeng bigyan ng livelihood assistance under the DILP. Okay. Next na hindi eligible are of course government employees, including those at the local government units. Okay. Dito marami pong nagtatanong bakit hindi natin kino-cover yung mga nasa LGU, halimbawa yung sa barangay, no? Na mga tanod daw, binibigyan lang naman ng honoraryo, yung mga barangay health workers na honorarium basis din, etc. Okay, so nag-consult kasi kami dito with the COA auditor ng DOLE at ang kanilang sinasabi is whether it's honorarium, no, kung ano man yung term na ginagamit nila, still kinukuha rin yan from the funds ng barangay. E saan ba nanggagaling ang funds ng barangay? So government funds pa rin yan. So ang mangyayari, kung government funds yan, tapos bibigyan mo pa siya ng livelihood, parang double availment na yung mangyayari sa kanya. So that is why hindi natin sila kino-cover under the DILP. Punta naman tayo sa eligible projects. Anything under the sun, no? Basta feasible yung proyekto, no? Sinasabi lang natin dito is mas binibigyan natin ng priority yung mga identified na ng Regional Development Council o ng RCC or yung mga regional development na ng LGUs, no? At kung kasama sila sa key employment generators and DTI priority products. But ito medyo hindi naman sa hindi sinusunod, no? But medyo lax tayo dito, no? Kasi may mga beneficiaries tayo na parang ng mga farmers na hindi naman talaga suswak dito sa mga unless kasama sila sa Regional Development Plan of LGUs. But most are not. So may mga farmers tayo, even fisher folks, no, na talaga nangangailangan ng ating assistance, and we accommodate them kahit na wala sila dito sa listahan na ito na key employment generator or DTI priority. But as much as possible, of course, kailangan na kasama sila dito. But yun nga, sabi ko, meron din tayong, we also have to bend the rules sometimes, and if ang talagang purpose natin is makatulong sa ating mga vulnerable type of workers. Okay? Ano naman ang hindi eligible? So yung mga ipopropose na projects na micro-lending ang nature, hindi yan pwede. Okay? Hindi rin pwede yung mga projects that would require construction works at kailangan bumili ng construction materials. So that is also not allowed under the program. At yung mga projects that would require purchase of motor vehicles, hindi rin po yan pwede. Okay? Sa farmers po, ang pwede lang natin ibigay ay yung mga hand tractors. So kung makita niyo sa baba in red font, no, only tractors na kailangan nila sa kanilang pagsasaka. But hindi ito yung mga malalaking traktora na ito yung mga hand tractors lang. Kasi yung mga malalaking traktora, hindi naman na kayang ibigay ng DILP kasi napaka mahal ng kanilang mga presyo. So ito naman is just outlining the steps, no, in processing the application. I think yung magiging role ng heroes natin would be to parang liaison, no, to facilitate the submission of the requirements to avail of the program. So apart from the monitoring, so this is part of that coordination work na ililias nila, no, yung beneficiaries with the pesos and ensure na makakomply ng ating prospective beneficiaries yung mga requirements that have to be submitted para maka-avail ng programa. So, ito kasi, this PowerPoint was for the regional offices, no? But kung pag-uusapan natin yung heroes, of course, meron na tayo ngayon sa barangay level. And as I have mentioned earlier, pre-identified na yung mga areas na kung saan mag-i-implement, which were already committed under the mission raised by our regional offices. So, we will provide you with that list, and then ang gagawin nyo na lang is susugan yung mga prospective beneficiaries na yan na ma-comply nila yung mga requirements na kailangan submit para maka-avail. Kasi this would still go or undergo the review process ng ating mga kasamahan sa regional offices. So kung makikita nyo dyan, of course, sa level ng mga heroes, initially you have to review, no, yung mga minimum requirements natin dyan. At may checklist naman ng regional offices dyan. We'll just request our livelihood focals to provide you with the checklist of requirements for availment. And then pag na-ensure nyo na kumpleto yung requirements, that's the time that you have to submit to the PESO, no? Yung heroes natin dyan sa PESO for further validation before ma-submit ito sa ating provincial office. And then the provincial office will in turn, of course, review again kung talagang tama yung mga na-submit ng ating mga heroes sa barangay level. At pag siguradong kumpleto na, no, at nag-undergo na ng initial evaluation in terms of yung feasibility ng kanilang proposed project, it will now be submitted to the regional office. Okay? Yung ating DILP funds are directly downloaded to the regional offices. So, pag in-endorse yan ng ating, may tinatawag po tayong regional project management team which evaluates and endorses a particular proposal. So, pag na-evaluate na yan at in-endorse ng RPMT at in-approve ng regional director, nandyan naman na po yung pondo sa region. No? Unless magkaubusan ng pondo sa region, that's the time that they would have to go to the central office. Kung meron pa, no? Kasi as it is, ang central office naman po talaga ay walang pondo sa DILP kasi nga diretso ang downloading dyan sa regional offices. But we accommodate sa central office kapag talagang kailangan lang. So we find ways at pinakausap natin dyan ang Financial and Management Service ng DOLE kung saan pwedeng hanapan ng pondo. No? So pag ganun yung tema, medyo magtatagal, no? Kasi hahanapan pa siya ng pondo, so mag-realign pa kung kailangan mag-realign before we can finance a livelihood proposal na in-endorse ng regional sa central office. No? So kaya as much as possible, we would like na yung funding will be coming na from the regional office para hindi masyadong matagal yung pagbibigay natin ng assistance. Okay, so ito naman are requirements, ano? So hindi ko na siya iisa-isahin. As I've said earlier, we will just request our livelihood focal persons sa regional offices na bigyan kayo ng checklist, no, sa requirements for availment. Okay? So medyo madami itong requirements, no. Ito yung mga requirements natin kung if we will go through the ACP mode, meaning hindi directly yung beneficiaries ang bibigyan ng assistance but idadaan sa isang accredited co-partner, no. Alam naman na ito ng regional offices natin, so you just have to determine kung yung bang livelihood project will be done through ACP or will be provided through ACP, or kung direct administration, meaning DOLE mismo yung mag-i-implement, wala kayong magiging problema, no? Kasi kung direct admin naman, hindi ganito karami yung requirements, no? But itong mga requirements na ito naman ay actually these are not DOLE requirements but more of COA. No? Ang requirements ng DOLE dito would be the application letter and the detailed project proposal. No? Pero as to the rest, ito ay mga requirements na po ng COA that we have to comply with. Okay, okay. So much for the requirements. So na-mention ko na, meron tayong two modes of implementation, no? Through ACP and direct admin. No? In most regions, they prefer the ACP mode. Ano? Kasi ang mangyayari dyan, they will just transfer the funds doon sa ating accredited co-partner. Ang ACP natin ay pwedeng NGO or pwedeng NGO. Okay? So pag na-transfer yung funds doon sa ACP, yung ACP na yung bahalang mag-procure ng mga equipment or tools na kailangan ng ating mga beneficiaries para doon sa kanilang proposed project. Okay? Kung direct admin naman, sabi ko nga kanina, DOLE lahat yan. So DOLE ang bibili, DOLE ang magre-release sa beneficiaries. Okay? I think that's about it. So that's the end of the presentation for the DOLE Integrated Livelihood Program. So what's the pleasure of our organizer, Ms. Lisa? Do I proceed sa tupad or mag-entertain muna tayo ng questions?
Andrea, I think you could read some questions in the chat box.
Okay, so we have here a few questions, ma'am.
Okay.
Wait, let us backtrack lang po kanina, no? So, nasagot naman na po yung question kanina po ni LGU Danao, yung would there be communication allowance, ma'am, or covered na rin po sa salary? I think this is for the local hero. So, nasagot na rin po ito ni Ms. Liza. And then, again po, reiterate lang namin na yes, we will be sending all of you a copy of the presentations po. Pati po yung revised briefer natin kung saan kasama po yung contact details ng ating BWSC focal persons po or kasama ng ating program management team na naka-assign po sa BWSC. And then we have a question here po from Dole NCR. Direct message siya sa akin, Ms. Liza. As mentioned a while ago that local hero will accompany the heroes in the barangays, can we apply it for establishment survey? And is there any letter to be used so that they will be acknowledged po? I think, Ms. Lisa, sige pa.
From the regional office letter is sufficient na para hindi na masyado sa national pa nanggagaling.
Yes. So siguro po parang letter lang po signed by RD stipulating na we are part of the missionaries program, that we will conduct the survey, ganyan po. So pwede na po siguro yung gawin ng ating race coordinators sa RO level. And then, next question po from Ms. Lay, Dole NCR. Do we have additional allocation po for livelihood intervention missionary kung marami nang ang ma-profile and needed intervention nila ay livelihood?
Actually, you have to start with those that have already been committed under the mission race. No? So ito yung may mga assured na funding kasi as I mentioned earlier, nasa regional offices na yung ating DILP funds. Okay? So ito yung ating magiging priority muna. Okay? Yung sinabit kasi ng regions, kasama part na yan ng kanilang targets for 2021. Okay? So kung meron man mag-avail out of the priority, meaning out of those committed from for the mission race for this year, sila yung second priority. Okay? And we will have to look for funds for that. So probably, hindi na yan makakover by 2021, baka sa 2022 funds na. Kasi nga, ang priority natin, yung mga na-commit na for 2021. Ano lang ako ng ilang seconds sa may nagdo-doorbell kasi kanina pa. Saglit lang.
Go ahead, Ms. Cheeky. Sige po.
Siguro while waiting for Cheeky, syempre pagbaba ng GIP, may makikita tayo, gusto ko livelihoods. Just complete those data dahil ibabangga natin yung doon sa record ng pledge na yung committed na ng BWSC. Because this data, once we see it, that could be now our source na makikita na mas marami palang gusto ang intervention and livelihood. So for our budgeting, rendre budgeting, we could defend that we would need more funds for livelihood. So ganun ho talaga kahalaga ang role ni GIP sa pag-ikot-ikot niya talaga sa lokalidad. Kasi pwedeng mangyari sa isang household, si tatay returning OFW. So may intervention mamaya si NRCO in the afternoon kung anong pwede kay returning. Si nanay ay gusto magsari-sari, pasok si livelihood. Si kuya naman, trabaho at gusto niya ng matagal na siyang walang trabaho. So ganun sa isang household is not limited, isa lang ang ipo-profile. So thank you, Ms. Cheeky, you're back. I think the question, the next question.
Okay. Sige po. Ayun din po, add ko lang din po sa sinabi ni Ms. Liza na as local heroes po sa atin sa peso level, important po talaga na makaskade natin sa ating GIPs or sa ating heroes yung mga programs na ino-offer po natin or interventions na i-offer po natin through the Mission Race program. So ayun po, again, we will send you a copy of these PowerPoint presentations para po ma-review po ninyo ulit. So Ms. Cheeky, we have here another question from Ms. Fe.
Okay.
Ang eligible beneficiaries ba kasali ang mga Pantawid members or nabigyan na ng livelihood from the government?
Hindi eligible yung ating 4-piece beneficiaries to avail. No? Gaya ng sabi ko kanina, this is an agreement between DOLE and DSWD na kung sila ay beneficiary pa ng 4-piece, ibig sabihin hindi pa sila aalis sa programa, hindi pa sila graduate ng 4-piece, hindi sila pwedeng mag-avail ng livelihood program natin. Ang logic dito kasi is we do not want na lahat na lang ng assistance ay nandun na ibibigay sa 4-piece. Kasi marami rin tayong mga vulnerable groups of workers na nangangailangan din ng tulong. So kumbaga, priority ng DSWD is 4-piece. Pero tayo, we have a different set of priorities at ang atin ay workers. No? So ganun yung naging agreement. So unless they have graduated from the 4-piece, definitely hindi natin sila pwedeng i-accommodate sa DILP except if they are parents of child laborers. Yun lang yung ating exemption. No? Kung parent of child laborer yan, no? 4-piece siya, but pwede natin silang i-assist. No? Kasi isa ang priority natin na eligible beneficiaries are parents of child laborers. So even if 4-piece yan, okay lang. Nagagets niyo ako? All others na hindi parents of child laborers ay hindi pwede basta 4-piece. Pero if sila ay parent ng child laborer, we can accommodate them under the DILP because we want their children to be pulled out of child labor. Okay. Klaro yun?
Sounds clear naman po, Ms. Cheeky.
Okay.
Additional ma'am, paano naman daw po yung mga hindi member ng Pantawid pero nakatanggap na ng ibang livelihood from the government? Eligible pa rin po ba sila, ma'am?
Yes, kung mag-a-apply na sila for enhancement kasi meron na silang existing. Diba? So kung gusto nilang palaguin pa yung kanilang current na project, they can avail of the enhancement component ng livelihood natin.
Okay. Sige po. Miss Fe, is that clear po for your question, ma'am? Clear? Okay. Sige po. Nag-thumbs up si ma'am. So another question, Ma'am Chiki, from Sir Erwin Ingal. Good day po. May I ask po about doon sa galing sa correctional. Pwede po ba sila maging beneficiaries?
Technically, no. Kasi hindi sila worker. The fact na galing sa ang tawag ito, kulungan, no? Wala silang trabaho. But, pwede natin silang i-accommodate, hindi sila. Family member.
Family members.
Gets yun? So yung mismong galing sa kulungan, hindi siya, no? Kasi technically, he is not a worker. Okay? But yung kanyang family members, no? Kung may asawa siya, may anak siya, pwede rin kapatid niya, no? Pwedeng sila ang mag-avail for him.
Okay. Sige po. Okay. So, question from Peso Calamba. I think Ms. Liza can answer this. Meron bang official ID ang mga GIP at heroes natin?
Yung GIP po, meron talagang ID yan. Kasi yan ang basihan pagka sila ay susweldo at through money transfer, yan ang hahanapin sa kanila nung kung money remittance. For the, sino yung isang may ID? Local hero naman. Tama ba ako? Ang local hero, ito yung nasa LGU. What they have kasi is a contract with a regional office. But we contemplate on this, no? Kasi 274 lang naman yung local hero eh. Tingin ko naman, ang gusto ko lang ma-assure dito na yung ID nila na gagamitin ay hindi siya magkaroon ng confusion na siya ay taga-Dole. Dahil hindi siya taga-Dole, taga-LGU siya. So we'll park this muna and we'll take it up. Paano ang magiging itsura kung may ID si local hero ng Dole?
Okay. Papa. Sige pa. So, Ms. Chiki, additional question po from Ma'am Fe. Paano po yung mga graduates from drug surrenders? Eligible ba sila?
Pareho dun sa kanina, no? Yung persons to private liberty, yung mga nakulong, sila mismo ay hindi eligible. But yung family members nila pwede. As long as meron silang certification from the DOH that they have undergone the rehabilitation program.
Yes. Okay. Noted. Thank you so much, Ms. Chiki.
Andrea, may dagdag lang ako. Mukhang very timely, no? May nagtanong tungkol sa mga drug surrenderies, returning rebels. Dole kasi, ladies and gentlemen, a member ng PRLEC, yung Poverty Reduction. Now, apparently, nagbigay kasi ang National Security Council ng list ng 822 cleared barangays. At ang mangyayari is that kung may residente na nabigyan ng intervention galing from this barangay, pinapa-identify lang. Ilalabas pa lang namin ang memo sa aming regional office, pero naibangga na po namin na dun sa 5,366 barangays, 123 barangays doon ay cleared barangays. Therefore, isang pasadahan na lang. Kung halimbawa na come across mo siya, itatag mo na siya na ito ay nabigyan ko ng intervention or na-interview ko. Okay na po yun. Isang report na lang din.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarification, Ms. Liza. We have here from Peso Parañaque, Ms. Amaya. You're raising your hand po. Ma'am, you're acknowledged.
Good morning po. Ma'am, follow-up question lang tungkol doon sa child labor na magiging beneficiary na ang parent ay 4-piece pero parent siya ng child labor. Ang follow-up question ko lang po doon, paano po ma-identify yung child labor? Dapat po ba nakaregister siya sa DOLE? At kung dapat nakaregister, ano pong way?
Okay. Ang proseso po natin para ma-identify natin kung talagang parents sila ng child labor ay kung sila ay na-profile na. Kasi ang regional offices po natin are conducting profile of child laborers. Nationwide po yung survey na ginagawa na yan, yung profiling. So kapag sila po ay napasama doon sa profile na yan, sa profiling na ginagawa, at i-endorse ng ating child labor focal, meron po tayong focal person per region para sa child labor activities. No? So, i-endorse po yan ng child labor. Pag na-endorse, tsaka pa lang po natin sila ma-accommodate to avail of the livelihood program. Pero kung hindi po sila kasama dun sa na-profile, definitely hindi po sila i-entertain ng ating regional offices. Okay. So, ang importante po ay makasama sila dun sa profiling na ginagawa.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Welcome po.
Okay, thank you po, Ms. Tricky, Ms. Amalia. We have here another question from LGU Kamalani Yugan from Ms. Mary. Hi po, what if the barangays will not comply with the reproduction of forms? Can we have a letter from the regional office, especially if it requires budget po?
Ang masasabi ko dyan is kung mahirap sa barangay, baka the barangay can go to the isang LGU lang sila, di ba? Check muna ni ang katuwang
Sa
kasi ni GI.
munisipyo.
Oo, yun, mismo sa munisipyo.
They can ask for assistance sa kanilang mga munisipyo.
Yes, sa kanilang munisipyo, yes. Kasi ang intervention ibibigay sa constituents din ni munisipyo eh. So perhaps we're talking here of the really poor barangays, walang mga gamit, no? Kasi ang kailangan ni GIP isang table man lang, may space kaya naman, I don't know kung saan space siya doon habang kasi hindi naman yan maghapon sa labas. So kahit paano uwi ng tanghali yan, magla-lunch, tapos lalarga ulit, no? So siguro koordinasyon ni barangay sa munisipyo para dun sa pag-reproduce ng kanyang forms.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Liza. We have here Ms. Lolita Panyo from LGU Danao. Ma'am, if ever marami pong eligible sa isang bahay, paano po yung assignment? Ms. Lolita, if you can open your microphone po, may we clarify what do you mean with yung sa assignment po na tinatanong nila?
Although mukhang gets ko yung kanyang concern.
Apo.
Dun sa first part kasi ng makikita nyo, merong barangay na let's say NCR. 4 na LGU, 4 na po ang barangay. Kung 6 na buwan, so mukhang sobra naman yung para ikutin niya yon. Unless ang mga, alam niyo naman ang itsura ng mga bahay-bahay dito sa NCR. Isang bahay, 3 pamilya. Ipo-profile niyo po lahat yun. So mahalaga na makuha natin ang first magiging assignment later on this afternoon, kailangan makuha ang population sa bawat barangay. Sino kukuha? Definitely si local hero kasi siya ang taga-LGU. From there, makukuha mo yung total population, i-strategize mo na kung anong time frame nyo matatapos ang entire work until hopefully by September or October tapos lahat. Kasi pwedeng nag-profile ako ng 5 sa isang bahay, i-encode ko lahat yung 5. So in a day, perhaps magkakatabi ang bahay, you could go by kalye, by so it's really part ng strategy na ang magbibigay talaga si local hero. Kasi yung GIP po, please remember, usually mga kagagraduate lang yan ng high school, yung iba. Unlike our local hero na may experience na magtrabaho. So we would like to assume na in terms of the cognitive knowledge, kaya medyo mataas din yung salary binigay namin dahil kayo po ang mag-a-analyze. So malaking bagay, let's get the population so we would be able to strategize kailan ang ikot, ilan ang iikutin, anong araw iikot. Yun po.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Liza. Ms. Lolita, na-answer po ba namin yung tanong po, ma'am?
Yes po, ma'am. Thank you po. Thank you po, Ma'am Andrea.
Thank you so much po. Sige po. So another question po from Metranaga Peso, kay Sir Florencio, is there a possibility to lessen the stringent documentary requirements to hasten access at malesen din ang waiting time? By experience, takot sa madaming papeles ang common na tao at mainipin mag-antay. I think, sir, are you referring for the document.
Livelihood yan.
Yes, sa livelihood, ma'am. Yes, Ms. Jakey.
Okay. Unahin ko muna yung sa individual. Sa individual availment, wala naman silang kailangang documentary requirements na napakarami na isasubmit. All they have to submit is the 1 page or 1.5 page na template, proposal template natin. Fill upan lang nila yon. Sasabihin lang nila ano yung kanilang gustong maging project, ano yung mga kailangan nila for that project, etc. So templated na yan, napakadali, fill upan na lang ng beneficiary. Okay? And binibigyan naman ng assistance yan ng ating mga livelihood focal person sa region, sa provincial offices, kung paano nila i-fill up yung templated na form. Okay. Ang medyo maraming requirements ay yung para sa group undertaking. Kasi nga, malaki na yung assistance dito. Remember, meron tayong 250, may 500,000, and 1 million. At hindi naman pwedeng basta na lang natin ibigay yan. Kasi remember, kami po ay government office, no? Tayo, government office tayo. And we are bound by COA rules and regulations. Okay? So, nabanggit ko na kanina, most of the docu requirements are requirements of COA. Hindi po ng DOLE. So no matter how much na makipag-usap kami or makiusap sa COA, hindi nila pwedeng baguhin yan, no? Unless magbaba ng panibagong rules ang COA. Pero as it is, kahit ilang beses na kami nakipag-usap sa COA, yan talaga yung kanilang requirements. Because they always remind us that, remember, this is government money. So we have to be accountable for that. And accountability means we have to comply sa requirements ng COA. Okay? Kung legitimate organizations naman kasi yung mag-a-apply, I don't think they will be encountering problems. Kasi kung talagang legitimate yan at registered yan sa DOLE or registered in any accrediting government agency or registering government agency, they already have the documents. No? Ipaparepro lang nila yan at isasabit sa DOLE. Ngayon, kung hindi sila legitimate, of course, mahihirapan sila. Kasi wala sila ng mga nire-require na documents, no? Ngayon, pagdating naman doon sa paghihintay, of course, di ba, ang sabi ko kanina, we are not providing them cash. So yung binibigay natin, equipment, tools, dadaan yan sa procurement process. Okay. So again, dahil government tayo, kailangan natin sundin yan. Even if we implement through ACP, at ang ACP natin ay local government unit, still the LGU would have to comply dun sa procurement process. Hindi pwedeng hindi. Otherwise, makukuha sila, makakasuhan sila dyan. No? So please bear with us. Kung magtagal man, it's because of the procurement. No? Hindi naman actually dun sa submission and evaluation ng ating mga regional offices. But yung requirements mismo sa procurement process, doon lang tayo medyo nagtatagal. No? Except kung ang iyong magiging ACP ay NGO na hindi kailangan dumaan doon sa procurement. No? Pero if it's LGU or if it's direct admin by DOLE, definitely kailangan natin kung daanan yung proseso ng procurement na yan. Otherwise, ay madedemanda po ang ating mga regional directors.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Jakey. Siguro ma'am, add ko na lang din po na kung ang concern natin ay baka nga po, lalo na yung mga individuals po na gusto mag-avail ng ating programa, baka pwede pong dito pumasok yung ating mga GIPs, yung ating mga heroes sa pag-assist ng administrative arrangements na pwede po silang mag-assist sa pagsagot ng forms, hindi sila nahihirapan. So, yun po, tayo as local heroes sa peso level, we have to ensure that our GIPs are well-oriented with these forms sa mismong programa ni BWSC para na-explain din po nila ng mabuti sa mga mag-a-avail ng programa po. So yun po, isa po yun sa kailangan nating aralin at i-practice para mai-relay yung information. So, turuan din po natin sila kung paano mag-answer ng forms, which sabi na nga po ni Ms. Jakey, madali lang naman po yung especially sa individual kasi templated naman na po yun. So, kung yun po ang concerns, administrative arrangements, pwede po natin gamitin or pakiusapan yung ating mga GIPs to help and assist these households po. So, additional question po from DOLE NCR. Ibig po bang sabihin once na nilagay nila na ang gusto nilang intervention is livelihood, we will automatically have them sign the DLIP documents? Ms. Liza? Yes, Ms. Chiki. Apa.
Sige, Ms. Liza muna.
Okay. Number one, the purpose of our checking out to get the labor market profile and to know what interventions our beneficiaries have nandun sa data. Sabi nga ng ating BWSC, meron na silang naka-line up. So ibabanggayan kung nandun siya o wala. Now, what if wala siya doon? Consider lang the parang preference niya. Kasi ang naging observation ko rin kasi sa ibang beneficiary, sige, livelihood na lang. Pero actually, hindi klaro sa kanila ano yung livelihood. Unless na ibaba mo sa kanya, ano ba talaga ito? And that's the reason why ang ating marketing ambassadors are our GIP. Livelihood pa lang pinag-uusapan natin ipopromote niya pa ang mga ACC programs, NRCO, no? So that's why kahit na we give the presentations to everyone today, we will make a parang packet module na parang mas ma-identify niya kaagad kung ano nababagay dito sa beneficiary nito. So the data we would need so that we would know by next year kung ilan talaga ang hihilingin pa rin namin sa ating gobyerno na mukhang kung livelihood ba ang mamumutawi. Kasi ngayon talagang tayo sabay-sabay tayong to explore anong lalabas dyan sa household survey na yan. Yung sinabi mo naman, Andrea, paano i-assist para ma-assist ang GIP? Kung siguro naman nadaanan kayo ng mga census in one time of your life sa bahay nyo, ganun lang din siya kabilis. Basta alam ni GIP ano ibig sabihin ng contents doon. Nung ako ay nagagawa ng ganyan noon, hindi natin maiwasan, may magtatanong, ano pong ilalagay ko sa citizenship? Ako mismo na surprise ako di Pilipino ka, di ba? Lagay mo Pilipino. Ganyan. So, as they go on, perhaps in the first or 2 weeks, medyo parang hindi pa gamay. Pero after that, tuloy-tuloy na yan. Baka unang tingin mo pa lang doon sa tao, alam mo na sagot, livelihood lalagay na ito, for sure. Ganun. Ms. Chiki, you have something to add?
Okay, ganito. I would suggest na mag-focus lang muna sila doon sa na-commit na ng regional offices. We will provide you with a copy of those commitments, no? Kasi otherwise, di ba sabi ko nga kanina, these are already targets, no, ng regions natin. So mag-focus kayo dyan, and if ever na merong mag-signify ng kanilang intent to avail of the livelihood program na hindi kasama doon sa kinomit ng isang particular na region, don't make promises. No? Sabihin nyo lang sa kanila that they might be accommodated by next year. Kasi for this year, malabo na talaga sila ma-accommodate. In fact, I'm sure kalahati ng fund allocation ng regions ay wala na yan kasi we are already in the middle of the year. No? So definitely, hindi na yan kayang ma-accommodate pa ng ating mga regions given their fund allocation. So just accept kung nag-signify sila ng intent to avail, no? But don't let them fill up the documents muna kasi it will give them false hope, no? Sabihin lang na puno na tayo for this year and pwede siyang ipasok by 2022. Okay?
May list ka ba ng mga barangays para at least
kasi nabit namin sa inyo. Actually, kopya kayo.
Walang changes ka doon because that will be
wala na. Yan na yung final based sa submission ng ating regional offices.
Pengi soft copy, hard copy po siya ha.
Sige. Basta papadala namin kayo at saka sila sa regions ang copy ng kanilang mga commitments.
Yeah, through the regions na lang. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, Ms. Floriza, may clear na po ba yung ating question? Sagot naman po ba? Okay. So we assume okay. So wala na tayong pending question sa ating chat box. Anyone would like to raise their hand po? Or are we clear with our first half of our orientation activity? Okay.
Tanong pa,
Eto po, may nagtanong. Ma'am, tanong ko lang po, ang mga GIP ba ay may uniform po?
Wala po tayong uniform sa GIP, so ID will do. At since sila ay taga-barangay din, so I would like to assume na ang kapwa nila ka-barangay, kilala na yung GIP natin yan.
Di ba kayo nagbibigay ng t-shirt sa GIP?
Stipend lang ang nakalagay sa GAA, stipend and insurance.
So, additional question po from Ma'am Fe, who will monitor the livelihood when implemented? So I
Part
think
po yan ng magiging role ng ating GIPs, no? So they will assist our livelihood focal sa provincial level and assist also the PESO in monitoring the livelihood commitments.
yes. Tapos add ko lang din po na if napansin nyo kanina yung meron pong central, regional, and PESO level po na coordinators ng ating mga heroes and hero support. Yan, part po yun ng ating monitoring period. And as mentioned nga po, meron naman tayong focal person from the central office na naka-assign mismo sa BWSC who will handle the overall monitoring ng livelihood programs. So, additional question, may trainings po ba for the GIPs para mas maging oriented po and ready po talaga, lalo na sa mga possible interventions?
It's only for local heroes and PESO hero support. Therefore, the learnings that you are getting now has to be echoed to the GIP. So, malaki ang role mo dito kung ikaw ay hero support. Ikaw yung hinire ng DOLE to assist the regional focal because the regional focal is also memorize niya lahat yung mga programs ng DOLE. No? So, ikakaskade.
Yes. So, ayun po, as hero support po sa PESO level, it could be part of Ayan. So, pag po nag-hire kayo ng GIPs, tapos nag-sign sila ng participation agreement, and then you can do your usual orientation activity na ginagawa natin sa GIP. I think may additional questions po ba? Time check, 10 minutes before 12. Ayan. So, additional question, ma'am, meron po ba silang travel allowance, especially yung mga naka-assign sa malalayong lugar? So, na-answer na po to kanina ni Miss Liza na sa local heroes for sa ating PESO, salary po yung inalot natin. But for GIPs, ma'am, meron po ba tayong travel allowance?
Yung sa GIP kaya ang preference ay
within the
barangay
barangay
din.
Yes.
Oo. So malilimitahan natin yung mga tricycle.
Yes.
Unless of course ang region ang nag-require sa kanya na i-validate mo nga ulit ito, yung ganon.
Apo. So ayun po. But for GIPs po, rest assured na may stipend po silang kasama, and again nga po, insurance coverage. So yan po yung mga kasama sa benefits ni GIP. So any questions pa po? Anyone who would like to raise their hand? Well, Miss Cheeky is with us po. Ayan, additional question. Good morning po. Since na-discuss na po ang IDs, GIPs, and local heroes, may I ask po for the hero support? So I think for the regional office na po. If may IDs po for our ROs, ma'am?
Yung sa hero support kasi 16 lang naman to eh. So we could design an ID na lang sa central, ibibigay namin sa regional office at sila na lang mag-print on para uniform, identify. Yes. And I'd like to thank ARD Trail, nagbigay siya ng feedback sa akin. Though the local heroes are under contract, they are also using DOLE ID. So we will design. In other words, yung 274 na LGU, local heroes, at yung hero support na 16, magde-design po kami ng ID. GIP, may standard ID na po tayo.
Okay. Sige, ma'am. Question po again from Ms. Fe, yung amount ba sa fare ng GIPs based sa tariff ng munisipyo? Ma'am, if you mean by fare yung allowance po or stipend din ng GIPs, bale, if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Liza, pare-pareho po yan sa lahat ng region ng stipend po nila.
Po, minimum wage based on the regional minimum wage.
Yes. Okay. So, any more questions po?
Yes, mag-photo op na tayo at magla-lunch.
Sige po. So, siguro sige ma'am, last question po from Miss Angelique ng LGU Tagbilaran City. How about po sa mga establishments? Kailan po ito gagawin ang survey? Right after po ba matapos yung sa mga barangay?
Okay, nandiyan pa ba sina Camille at ano?
I think wala na
they left.
Liza. Pero siguro to answer na lang po the questions, it's really up to the strategy po ng ating barangays and ng ating local heroes. Paano po natin mas magiging efficient yung pagkakonduct ng survey both on the household po and the establishment. So kung saan po sa tingin niyo na pwedeng pagsabayin, pwedeng unahin muna household. So strategy po ng ating LGU para po kung saan din mas mapapadali yung trabaho ng ating GIPs. And then, last question ma'am from Region 8, mayroon po bang benefits ang Hero Support at Local Hero?
Yun nga po, ang sweldo po ng ating Hero Support ay pare-pareho across all regions, 20,000. Yun lang po yung i-package namin. So that amount could be even higher than the minimum wage in the area para na lang fair sa lahat. So nakapeg po siya sa 20,000. Yes. Including the transpo na.
Okay. Ma'am, additional question from Sir Terry. Ma'am Liza, di ba may 2K transpo allowance sa GIPs?
That was the first proposal that we did, but that was revised to May 27. Our on finance, because if you will look at the GAA, ang provision lang po ay stipend at GSIS allowance. That's the reason why in the we sent a memo yesterday clarifying the transpo matter, at ang nakalagay dun sa memo ni ASIC Nikki ay kanya hanggat maaari ang kukunin niyo pong GIP ay taga-barangay din. Kung hindi po maiiwasan na may travel cost, ang tawag, hindi po allowance Ayaw ng ating director ng finance na allowance ang tawag sa kanya because it will translate to as added income. Actual transpo cost, kung kinakailangang ikaw na peso or region ay may ni-require sa kanyang puntahan at may gusto ka siguro i-validate sa ginawa niya, ayun po pwede. So bago umalis, dapat alam mo na siya ay may basbas at permisong pumunta ulit doon dahil sa iyo nang galing yung instruction.
Okay.
So you could save on admin cost.
Sige po. So question po, paano kung ang isang GIP ay na-assign sa isang barangay na maliit lang ang population? Maari po ba siyang tumulong sa isang GIP kung saan hindi pa siya natapos? Yes ma'am, actually yun nga po, we're giving liberty to our focal persons po sa pesos kung paano po nila isa-strategize yung workload ng ating GIPs. Kung ganun po na matatapos sa ganyang work, pwede po sila tumulong with other administrative tasks tulad nga po ng pag-assist sa mga livelihood trainings na pinoprovide din ng BWSC and our other partners. So it's really up to the local heroes po kung paano natin mas matetrain at mas mabibigyan ng experience ng ating GIPs. And then additional question, ma'am, for the processing po ng salary for GIPs, local heroes, and hero support po, who will be intended to process this? Question from Region 12.
We'll download the funds for the salary of the concerned personnel sa regional office. And of course, ang ating regional office, hindi rin naman yan basta magre-release ng pondo hanggat hindi muna ayos ang mga papeles like may DTR ba siya, may accomplishment. Yung usual po natin ginagawa sa ating mga GIP.
Okay. Miss Amalia from Peso Parañaque is raising her hand, ma'am. You're acknowledged po. Ma'am, you're still on mute, ma'am.
Follow-up question lang po dun sa transpo ng ating GIP o ng HERO. Ano po yun? May supporting documents po ba yun? O as in 2,000 a month? O actual transpo?
Yung 2,000 a month po, hindi siya, ang nilagay lang po dun sa memo, kung may i-incur na transpo expense, not allowance, no more than 2,000 a month. But, kumbaga actual siya. No? At yun ay kailangan niyang i-incur dahil ni-require siya ng DOLE office kung may ipapa-verify. So para rin hindi natin mabigyan ng false hope yung ating GIP na on top of regional may 2,000 ako, hindi po.
So, ang malinaw po, ma'am, sa akin, tsaka naman,
Okay lang, ma'am.
Actual transfer expenses,
Actual po.
so kailangan may supporting documents din siya. Okay, thank you.
Saka I think kayo yung nagtanong ng registration link. Ito
Yes,
na po,
ma'am.
kung ano yung
Sorry.
nandiyan na kayo sa loob. So,
sige.
we just want to make sure that we will be able to furnish all our participants today a copy of all the presentation. Exciting pa rin po ang ating magaganap this afternoon dahil sa totoo lang hindi alam ng mga constituents sa barangay na may ganito palang programa si DOLE para sa mga biktima ng ano ba yan, yung sa PCC, yung mga ganyan. And of course, we're also interested to hear TESDA who we appreciate na nandito since this morning because they are also aligning anong i-offer na program na suitable for mission race based sa napakaraming programa ni TESDA.
Thank you, Ma'am. Sige po, thank you, Ma'am din. Last 2 questions na lang po siguro para makapag-lunch break na tayo, no? So, last question po from our O2, Miss Mary. How about po yung mga limited GIPs lang pero maraming barangays? Ma'am, if I am not mistaken po, isang GIP po tayo sa per barangay. So, rest assured po na enough yung ating GIPs po sa mga barangay pesos na mag-i-implement ng ating mission race program. And then kung pwede daw po ba mag-adjust ng assigned areas ang GIP, kumbaga swapping of assignment area. Ma'am, reiterate ko lang po yung sinabi natin kanina na yes po, pwede po yung baguhin ng ating mga local heroes. And preferably po sana kung magpapaswap tayo ng areas, yung kalapit na barangay lang po sana para hindi masyadong tumaas yung transfer expenses at hindi mahirapan mag-travel si GIP. And then,
by the way, yung kung may ganyan man no, na parang adjustment, please don't forget to inform the regional peso focal.
Yes,
No? Because we also have queries that we got na may naka-indicate na may pwede bang palitan tong barangay na to dahil mukhang napakahirap i-coordinatean. And kailangan no, sa aming DOLE Regional Office magbigay sa amin ng info. So don't just do it alone and change it. Closely coordinate with our peso focal na I'm sure kilala nyo. Dahil ang aming DOLE Regional Focal ay palaging naka-coordinate sa inyo para sa mga programa ng DOLE. Lalo na pag magdi-December at mag-yeyepa na.
yes. Okay, ma'am, last question na po from Miss Merida. Ma'am, currently isa lang GIP namin pero 22 barangays kami. Tapos nag-organize kami ng B-Peso. So paano po ang remaining 21 barangays?
Okay, based on the listing that we had, isa ang GIP mo para sa 22 barangays. Yung 22 barangays ang iikutin niya. Ngayon, nag-reorg ka, naglagay ka ng ibang mga barangay peso, kumbaga, naabot na siya sa cut-off. No problem kung gusto nyo pang suyurin yung iba. Pero hindi na po kami magdadagdag ng GIP.
Okay, sige po. So, sige po, bago tayo mag-lunch break, request ko lang po tayong lahat na mag-open ng camera para po sa quick photo opportunity. Miss Chiki, I think we have enough time po later after lunch. We can present the TUPAD program po.
Yes.
Andrea?
Yes, ma'am.
Pwede ba extend na lang a few minutes kasi meron akong 1:30 meeting eh.
Okay. Sige,
Okay,
sige.
ma'am. Sige po, no problem.
Yeah, short lang naman itong tupad kasi hindi naman lahat ng regions nag-commit dito sa tupad. So
Okay,
I
ma'am.
just have a few slides, siguro mga 10.
Sige po. Quick photo op muna tayo, Miss Chiki, and then we'll present the Tupad program quickly po.
Okay na yan kasi nagulo ko yung camera ko eh.
Sige po. Okay, so everyone, ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, next. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, last page. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. So, let's give Miss Chiki another 10 minutes po to quickly explain lang po the Tupad program, and then we can have our lunch break. Miss Chiki?
Okay, wait lang. Okay. Quick presentation lang ito. I only have about 10 slides. Okay. So the other program that was committed under the mission race is the tulong panghanap buhay sa ating disadvantaged workers. Kung kanina sinabi ko na popular yung livelihood, ito yung pinaka-popular sa lahat, no? I'm sure lahat ng pesos alam itong Tupad program natin. So ano ba yung Tupad? Ang Tupad is a safety net program that provides temporary wage employment para sa mga workers natin sa informal sector, no? At nilagay lang namin ngayon na who were affected, no, by the COVID-19 kasi ito yung pinaka-anong issue today, no? But meron din naman tayong regular program sa Tupad, but para sa ngayon na meron tayong problema meron lang tayong mga binago dun sa ibang mechanics natin under the program. Okay? So sino ba ang covered or sino ang pwedeng mag-avail ng Tupad program? So sabi ko nga, ito yung mga workers natin from the informal sector, in particular yung ating mga self-employed and unpaid family workers. Okay? Sa duration of work, under the regular Tupad, ito ay 8 hours a day. No? But with the COVID issue, ginawa na lang natin siyang 4 hours a day ngayon para ma-minimize yung risk ng transmission ng virus. No? Yung ating number of days previously during the DPBK and the post-EC2 implementation, nilimit lang natin sa 10 days. No? But now, na medyo okay naman na yung sitwasyon, binalik natin siya ulit sa minimum of 10 days and to a maximum of 30 days. Okay? So, yung temporary wage employment natin, nakabase din ito sa highest na minimum regional wage rate. No? So, pareho din ng GIPs natin. Kung ano yung pinakamataas na pasweldo, yun yung binibigay sa kanila. Okay? So, ang package of assistance natin dyan, of course, yun nga, we are providing them with the highest minimum wage. And ini-enroll din natin sila sa GPI ng GSIS and covered sila for 1 year kahit na hanggang 30 days lang sila nag-work under the Tupad. Okay. And then we also provide them with orientation on safety and health and financial literacy and other skills training if magsisignify na intent yung ating mga Tupad workers na gusto nilang mag-undergo ng training in partnership with TESDA para sa mas long-term na pwede nilang pagkuhanan ng kanilang pagkakakitaan. Okay? And then lastly, hindi ko makita, we provide them with PPEs, no? Personal protective equipment, na kung saan binibigyan natin sila ng t-shirt, long sleeves, no, ng hat, saka ng gloves, para lang meron silang protection while they are working or while they are engaged under Tupad. Pero for those na mga trabaho na nangangailangan ng complete set, no, yung medyo risky na yung trabaho, like yung mga repairs na ng ating mga public facilities, we provide them with a complete set of PPEs. Okay, so, So ito yung mga eligible projects under the Tupad program, no? So meron tayong mga social and economic community projects, meron tayong agroforestry, and then ito yung mga bagong additions natin because of the COVID issue. Pwede na rin tayong mag-hire ng Tupad workers to assist, to provide assistance to our LGUs, no, sa pagpapak or pagre-repack ng mga relief goods, no, pagbigay ng mga hygiene items, no, na binibigay sa mga barangays, etc., and even to the frontliners. Okay? And then meron din tayong transport services, no, sa pag-set up ng mga mobile markets. And of course, yung ating BKBK, which was implemented last year. No? So hindi na natin siya tinatawag na BKBK ngayon, but in-include na natin siya under the TUPAD program talaga. So pwede rin yung disinfection and sanitation of the community and other public facilities. Okay? So ang qualified beneficiaries natin, karamihan talaga ay yung mga nasa informal sector, no? Na banggit ko kanina, yung mga self-employed, etc. And then yung mga workers natin who have lost their livelihoods because of natural calamities, nabanggit ko na ito kanina sa ating livelihood program. At yung ating mga senior citizens na medyo makukulit, no? Na talagang they would really like to avail of that TUPAD program. So ina-accommodate na rin natin sila. But yun lang, kailangan hindi sila more than 75 years of age at dapat ay meron silang certification na fit sila to work kasi iniiwasan natin na baka mamaya may hypertension niya tapos mainit sa labas, nagtatrabaho sila for TUPAD, ay may stroke, no? So we really require them to provide us with a certificate, doctor certificate na sila ay fit to work. Okay? And then meron lang tayong konotilya na only one beneficiary per family can be accommodated under the TUPAD program. Okay? So kung yung sinabi ni Ms. Tisa kanina, in one household, kung minsan merong 2 or 3 families, so yung families po ang titignan natin. No? So kung 3 pamilya yan, so 3 yung pwedeng mag-avail ng TUPAD and, under one household. Okay? Okay, so pareho din po ng ating livelihood, we can implement through direct administration or through an accredited co-partner. Pero 90% po ng ating implementation ay through an ACP, which is the local government unit. So alam po yan ng ating mga pesos and ating mga regional focal persons. Okay. So hindi ko na ito i-discuss. Okay. Ang ating documentary requirements ay nirelax na natin, ano? Para mas mabilis yung ating pagbibigay ng assistance kasi emergency employment na ito. So ang nire-require na lang natin ngayon ay yung OSEC FMS Form 3, no, yung work program na tinatawag natin, and then yung list ng beneficiaries at yung contract of service. Kailangan ito maibigay lahat sa pre-implementation phase. And then after the implementation, no, post-implementation or during, no, kailangan inaayos na nila yung kanilang daily time record, which will be the basis for the payment of wages. Okay? Okay. So alam na ito ng ating mga pesos and mga kasamahan sa regions, ano yung mga requirements natin kung ang ACP natin ay kung mag-i-implement tayo through the ACP mode. So hindi ko na siya kailangang i-discuss isa-isa. Okay, so yun, that's it. Ang reminder ko lang for this mission race, hindi po lahat ng regions ay nag-commit ng TUPAD under mission race. Nangilan-ngilan lang. Parang there are just about mga 4 or 5 regions na nagbigay ng commitments under the TUPAD. So yun lang yung, if ever, no, yun lang yung tututukan ng ating mga GIP na heroes. Yung na-commit itong mga selected regions na ito under the TUPAD.
Okay.
So that ends the presentation. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Chiki. So I think we can have our lunch break po. If you have any questions about the TUPAD program, you can put it in their chat box. And then if ever man po na, yun nga po kasi may meeting si Ms. Chiki later on ng 1:30. So siguro when we return at 1 p.m., we can answer a few questions kung kailangan pong sagutan ni Ms. Chiki, but you can leave your questions po muna sa chat box and then balikan po natin later pagbalik ng 1 p.m. So thank you very much and happy lunch po. See you later po. Thank you.
Bye. Andrea, siguro i-flash mo what do we have in the afternoon so that they could see the flow naman.
Sige po. Okay po.
Sige, yun na lang ang ating wallpaper. Thank you. Enjoy your lunch, everyone.